Good morning, everyone. We are so thrilled to welcome you to the 8th annual Oklahoma Caregiver Conference, the Caregivers Compass, finding your way to balance and well-being. Thank you for dedicating this time to recalibrate your compass and find direction for your caregiving journey. I am Ashleigh Robinson. I'm one of your MCs for the conference today, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this year's conference, Supporting Family Caregivers. Whether you're joining us at one of our in-person locations, the 6 across the state, online, or at one of our 10 watch party sites, thank you so much for dedicating this time to yourself and to this vital mission. I know just how important supporting caregivers can be because I am a caregiver myself for my younger sister Danielle, who has Down syndrome. I've been hosting the conference the past few years, so many of you have heard my story before and have heard about Danielle and the incredible, wonderful woman that she is. I also know about caregiving in my day job at Bethany Children's Health Center. We care for lots of kiddos and we support parents and families as they are navigating their care journey for their kiddos too. And I am incredibly honored to have with me today Bobby Kern.
Hey, everybody. I am Bobby Kern. I am honored to join Ashleigh as your co-MC today. Just a little about me. I am the chair of psychology and family science at Oklahoma Christian University. That's my day job. At nighttime, though, I am a regionally semi-famous, semi-professional comedian. You can find me teaching classes at OKC Improv here in Oklahoma City. But more importantly, like many of you, I am a caregiver myself as well. My 12-year-old son has Down syndrome as an attribute, and we have been obviously caring for him for his life. And so I understand the ride that we are all on, the ups and downs. And I just want you to know that I've been a part of this conference for the last several years, and it has been a vital source of strength and knowledge and community for me. I've walked away from all of the different sessions inspired and equipped and reminded that we are not alone on this journey. With that, it is our privilege today to guide all of us through a day filled with speakers who will inform, support, and rejuvenate us all.
As we prepare for the conference today, we're going to go over a few housekeeping items to make sure that our day runs smoothly. We have live closed captioning available for today's webinar. If you would like to turn that feature on, please look for the show captions or live transcript button at the bottom of your Zoom toolbar. If you don't see it there, you may need to click the More button first. To select a different language option for the captions, click on the up arrow next to Show Captions feature. Online attendees will be muted throughout the day to minimize background noise. And you're welcome to use the Q&A feature for all of your questions and comments.
Recordings of today's conference will be posted on okcares.org, and you can share your feedback on our conference evaluation to be entered into an additional gift card drawing.
Today we have over 170 great prizes to give away, gift cards and books from keynote speakers. To make sure that you're eligible, you must be present either in person or on Zoom or at one of our watch party locations. Please take a moment right now to scan the QR code that you see on the screen. It will take you to the registration page to let us know that you're here today, and it will officially register you to win prizes. Our first giveaway is only a few minutes away, so make sure you are registered.
So before we dive into the content, OK Cares wants us to recognize you, the caregivers, who are navigating complex routes every day. Today, we have family caregivers joining us from all over the state of Oklahoma, as well as, I believe, 12 different states. Please know that your dedication does not go unnoticed. Enjoy the conference today.
We also want to thank our 10 incredible watch party hosts in Bartlesville, Idabel, Eufaula, Lawton, Muskogee, Okmulgee, Pawhuska, Shawnee, Stillwater, and Wetumpka. Thank you so much for opening your doors and creating local hubs of support, helping caregivers chart their course locally.
All right, friends, it is time for our first giveaway. So we will start. We have winners of 2 gift cards. We have first Crystal Senior from Broken Arrow, who's with us online, and Sharon Hinchy from Guyman, who's also with us online. And we also have 5 book giveaways. And those winners are Bridget Nelson, Joyce Harjo, Carla Parmenter, Larissa Kaiser, and Shelley Burcham. Congratulations to all of our winners. Your prize will be mailed to the address you entered when you registered.
All right. Now, to start us off this morning, we have Jenifer Randle, Executive Director of the Developmental Disabilities Council, and Miranda Hutchison, Programs Administrator of Developmental Disabilities Services at Oklahoma Human Services. They are going to walk us through the new Guardianship and Alternative Options resource page that was recently added to the OK Cares website. Jenifer and Miranda, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're excited to be here to talk about this new resource. So, Miranda, did you want to start by sharing first while I talk, just so they can see the page at first?
I can share it on screen and then you can talk, and then when you're done, I will go through the website. Perfect.
So we're really excited to show this new website on the OK Cares page. It's all about the continuum of decision making, guardianship, and alternative options. This work that we did came about from a grant that Developmental Disability Services and the Developmental Disabilities Council worked together to write to the National Association for Councils on Developmental Disabilities, to really look at how we were working with families and people with disabilities, and really helping them connect DD services and our aging services. A lot of times we found in different states that they can be disconnected. And so we wrote for this, it's a small grant, purposely designed so that things that each state that was awarded, things that they do can be replicated in other states a little bit easier. And so part of that work involved creating a state alliance team. And so we gathered really, I think, and other states are kind of jealous, I think. We really have a really great team. We have Miranda from Developmental Disability Services. We have CAP, Community Living, Aging, and Protective Services representatives. We have representatives from the DD Council, from Adult Day. I'm going to forget people. We also have our caregivers and adults with disabilities involved. The list is long because as we started working, at first it was kind of small, and then we realized, wait, we don't have everyone at the table, and so we slowly kind of involving them, and so it's been just, I think, a really good learning experience for us to get everyone involved. And create what you see, because one of the issues that as we were all sitting talking, is that we found that a lot of times when we're talking about decision making is sometimes always looked at for guardianship. I know at the DD Council we get a lot of people looking for help. How do we do guardians? When I used to teach, How do we get a guardian? And we forget sometimes that there are other options. And so we tried to put this website together really just to help our families and individuals have easy access to information. Starting, as you can see on your screen, the continuum goes from the least restrictive to the very most restrictive. And so we just kind of walk through on the website. We just kind of, each section has a place on the website to help someone with gathering that information. It's not meant for legal options or anything, or we're not legal advice. It's just really a place to get that information in that one place. Miranda, what have I missed in the history?
We were Well, we were really lucky to also have some representatives from Oklahoma Indian Legal Aid and Oklahoma Legal Aid, and also from we had Tiffany from Justice for All. She's a lawyer, and she really helped guide us in some of these principles. So we really were trying to be inclusive of all disabilities, all caregivers, and everybody from all walks of life, so that everybody can use this as a resource.
And it's really just designed that just to help you, families, individuals make the best decision for them.
Yeah, exactly. From my own perspective, from working with developmental disability services, I've been here for about 20 years. And I've seen over the years how families and the people we support in our programs are really trying to struggle, especially when their child is turning 18. What does that future look like for them? Do we need a guardian? Are there other options? And we found in a lot of our conversations, especially with the caregivers that are on our SAT team, that they didn't know about the other options. Like, nobody had talked about all of those options. And so we wanted to make sure that we had this website so that people knew, right, about what we have out there. So, Jen, do you want me to go ahead and go through the website, or do you have anything additional you want to add?
I think so. I don't want to read it. I was really proud of that. The first in blue, the small description that we included underneath the continuum. But yeah, I won't read it because we can all do that. But I just thought it goes back to the team that we had. We were just very intentional in trying to make sure the intent behind the website.
Yeah. So this, as you can see on screen, this is our website, and the first graphic up there is that full continuum, right? And then I do want to reiterate exactly what Jen said, is that this site is not legal advice at all. This is for informational purposes. The intent is for you as the caregiver and the person you're supported to use this information to help you make informed decisions about the type of support that person is going to need, either now or later in the future. One of the great features that we built into this website, it is one continuous website, but all through it, you have the ability to hit clicks to get back to the top, and I'll show you how that works. So for each item on the continuum, which we repeated here, you can click on these links and it'll take you to those specific sections of the website. And then with each of those sections, you can hit the little button and it takes you right back to the top. So while you're sitting there, you can kind of either scroll through the entire page if you like, or you can jump between the sections depending on the specific information that you're looking for. And then right at the top, we do have some links to some additional tribal and other resources that we've listed. And so you could, if you wanted to, you could click directly to that section as well. Thank you for putting that in the chat. So without further ado, I'm going to just kind of walk you guys through it. So like I said, if I click here, it takes me to that next section. So in the independent, the first place on that continuum, what we often heard from our group, and we heard from not only our caregivers, but from our own personal experiences working with families and the people in our programs, is that future planning is so vital, right? When we're looking to the future, we want to make sure that we're spending time and looking like, what does that look for, like for the person I support, so that you're prepared, that both of you are prepared. And especially if you as the caregiver become incapacitated or are unable to provide care. But we also want to talk to that person to see what they want with their future, right? And so having these conversations about future planning are so important. And so we wanted to we wanted a section that talked and that touched on that. So these are some great resources that we found that have some great future planning tools to help you and your loved one try to determine what that looks like, right, for the future. So we've got 5 wishes on here. We have a great tool from the ARC and some additional resources for you. As we continue down the continuum, the next section is on supported decision making. And supported decision making, it means it's a person that needs assistance, and they're getting assistance from one or more people to help them make informed choices, to help walk them through that this is the decision you need to make, and these are the pros and cons, so that person can make an informed decision about what will work for them. And when it comes to supported decision making, there is the option to have a formal or an informal decision-making agreement. And so we have an example of that. It just depends on the needs of the person, whether they want to have a formalized or an informal agreement. We also included some wonderful resources that will tell you lots more about supported decision-making, and it even have a legal guidance brochure for lawyers, and a couple of great videos that can talk about what supported decision making means for people with disabilities and those that are aging. And then see, I told you about the back to the top buttons. We have that available, so that will take you right back to the top, and I'll just show you how that works. And so the next section we're going to talk about is the representative payee. Now, sometimes the person you support don't really need help with making health decisions or other decisions. What they're really struggling with is their finances, right? Trying to help them make sure that they're budgeting, they're getting their bills paid on time, that they're doing what they need to maintain their financial responsibilities. And sometimes that person needs assistance. They might not need help with anything else, but they need assistance specifically with this. And for those folks, there is the option of representative payee. We have some great resources on that as well. Remember, this is not legal advice, but these are some general resources that we were able to gather and put together for you guys through our group, so you can learn more about being a representative payee and what that means, along with some other financial assistance programs that you guys can look at. Rolling into the next section, it is on advanced directives. So these don't have to be just necessarily for end of life or before a major surgery, putting these together. But sometimes the person can make a lot of their health decisions, but what they need help with is really putting down those plans, right? What do they want? And planning for that future is really vital, and having these in place. So we have a couple great resources on advanced directive here as well. Into the next section, it is called power of attorney. And actually, a lot of our members, including me, learned something new about the difference between a power of attorney and a durable power of attorney. With a power of attorney, if the person becomes incapacitated at any time, that power of attorney becomes null and void, right? But if you have a durable power of attorney, then that power of attorney remains in effect while that person is incapacitated. And I'm going to tell you from my own personal experience, my father-in-law has Alzheimer's, and he still is able to make several of his own decisions, but we actually used these resources from this webpage to help us create a durable power of attorney for him for both his health and his financial needs as he continues to age. And so this has helped prepare my mother and my father-in-law for that future, so that she and my husband can continue to support him, whether he's capacitated or not, to make those important decisions. So this has been really meaningful for us. And we actually use these exact same, this document right here to help us to one of our durable power of attorneys. So there's some great resources here on this page for you. The next big section is on guardianship. So if you guys, probably many of you are aware that there are two types of guardianship. There is general, where you're the guardian of both the person and their property, but then there's limited guardianship. So maybe that person is able to manage their finances, but they need help with health decisions, or vice versa. But with a limited guardianship, it really is specific about what that guardianship is there for, to help that person make decisions. But we want people to remember, I think Jen said this, and we think it's really important, that we really want our caregivers and the people that are being supported and that need assistance to really look at the entire continuum before we look at guardianship. We do know that guardianship is 100% the right thing in a lot of situations as well, but we wanted people to be really aware of all of the information, just because, like I said earlier, we often found that people were like, I didn't know that was an option. And so it's just really about educating people. The Developmental Disabilities Council here in Oklahoma, Jen's group, they actually had an expert come in and they did a great presentation about the continuum of decision making. It's about an hour or so long, this video, but it really is a great resource if you want to watch it and kind of walk through all of those different areas and get a little bit more information. We also have this training we've linked to. It's a free online training resource. It's a self-guided training, and it takes between 2 and 3 hours, but it takes you through all of the different aspects of the continuum of decision making. I will tell you, it's a general training that is available to all people, not just Oklahomans. So it doesn't include any kind of Oklahoma specific information, but it is a great resource to walk through, to learn more about all of the different areas in the continuum. And then, of course, we included some resources from the Oklahoma Bar Association, so that these are handy for you. And as I had mentioned, we included some tribal resources, of course. You know, our members from Oklahoma Indian Legal Aid Services and from Oklahoma Health Centers, they helped us decide on which specific resources we needed listed here, and that was really helpful information. And they also highly suggested, if you're in tribal court, look at your tribal court specific policies and rules and laws around guardianship, because it varies from tribe to tribe. So they wanted me to emphasize that. Into the next section, it's other resources. And so here on informational legal resources, we included the Oklahoma Disability Law Center. They have been a fantastic partner and a vital resource for people that are looking at guardianship. Also, the Special Needs Alliance team is there as well. You can call them, and Oklahoma Legal Aid Services is available. Of course, there's the Oklahoma Bar Association and Oklahoma Human Services as well. And then if you're a sibling, we've included some resources for our siblings that are caring for one of their loved ones from their brother or their sister as well. And one thing I want to mention in this is that we wanted to mention, and we talked about on guardianship, I want to go back to that, is we did not list any specific resources around termination of guardianship on our website, but I will tell you that we have somebody on our team that is going to help us identify some of those. We just did not find any that we think were really good informational wise. And specific enough for Oklahomans or general enough that they were really valuable resources, but we're continuing to work on that because we do know that some people do need to get guardianship, but also, of course, people will regain capacity depending on their needs. And so we wanted to be able to include resources on termination of guardianship. So that is something that we are still working on. And then down here, we have some additional great resources. We have Sooner Success. They're fantastic. And Oklahoma Family Network is also great. And Aging Disability Resource Center. I mean, if you guys need assistance, these guys are wonderful people to reach out to, all of these resources. And I'm going to take us back to the top with my magic little button. And once again, Jen and I both want to reemphasize that this website is just for informational purposes only. And it's just to help you and your family and the people you support to help you make informed decisions. And we do know that for many people, guardianship is the right option. So I don't want you to think that at any point that we are against guardianship, because that is not true. We do have guardians that participate in our group, and they were able to help assist us with providing the information that would be appropriate to put here. So that is our website. And we appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity to show this. Our group really put in a ton of work, right, Jen? Into putting this, we spent, I don't know, somewhere between 6 and 8 months, or maybe even longer than that, curating the resources and going through all of the different resources to put this together. So thank you for letting us showcase this one with all of you today.
Are there questions or? Dr. Kern, have you, well, you just went back off. I was going to ask, I don't know if, is this something new? Had you had time to see this yet? It's really new, so I'm not trying to throw you under the bus.
No, I have not seen this yet. This was great.
Oh.
That was wonderful, and I want to thank you both, Jenifer and Miranda, for walking us through that and shedding light on just the importance of this resource and the ease of it. I look forward to exploring it more. So thank you.
Yeah, and I feel like it's kind of dynamic. So I mean, if there are resources, please send them our way. We want to keep it fresh and updated as much as we can.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, 100%. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again, Miranda and Jenifer. That was a great presentation. Very excited for that resource and to be able to continue exploring that. What a great thing for our community. All right, what do you say we get to some more prizes to give away? I know everyone likes those. So wherever you're at, you can just pat on your lap, give yourselves a drum roll. Here we go. First, for a gift card, we have from the Okmulgee Watch Party, Latasha Gaines. Yay! And we have 5 more books to give away. Watching with us online is Sharita Brown. Congratulations. Again from Okmulgee at the Watch Party, Susan Thornburg. From the Bartlesville Watch Party, Dana McCoy. Also watching online, Carol Pixley. And again from Bartlesville, Luna Ware. Congratulations to all of our winners. Your prizes will be mailed to you to the address that you entered when you registered.
Now, up next, we are taking a look at technology that's making a real difference. Please welcome Allyson Robinson, Director of Accessibility Programs at Oklahoma Able Tech, and my co-host, Dr. Bobby Kern, for a tour of the incredible advancements in the Able Tech Smart Home.
Welcome to Oklahoma Able Tech.
Thank you. You look so familiar.
No, but I'm Allison.
Hi,
Wilson.
Allyson. I'm Bobby Kern.
Bobby Kern, welcome. Okay, we're so glad to have you. The other people who I'll reference later, but they're not going to be on camera. Okay.
Okay.
The universal
Yeah.
we. Okay. So Oklahoma Able Tech. Have you heard of Able Tech?
I've heard of Able Tech, but I'm not super familiar, so tell me more.
Okay. So it is what's called an assistive technology program. What does that mean? Okay, that means there's a program like ours in every state and territory. We're actually federally funded, and we bring those funds to the state, and we serve people with disabilities of all ages, all environments, all over the state. So I want to tell you more about our programs. You actually walked into our device reutilization program.
Oh, tell me, okay, that's a big fancy name for a place. What that means.
Okay, so in this site in particular, in Oklahoma City, we have one of our core programs, a device reutilization program, and we also have a smart home space. All right, and so I'm going to show you around and tell you all about it. But I do want to know, do you know what assistive technology is?
I am somewhat familiar, but
okay,
tell me what I need to know.
Okay, so literally look anywhere in this room and you will see assistive technology.
Okay.
Okay, like there's a bed behind us.
There is.
That is maybe not normally in an office suite.
Right.
Right? Okay. So assistive technology can be anything that helps a person with a disability do something they otherwise couldn't do or might be impossible to do without it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So some of the things when I look around and see them, it might be that I have a phone that captions my calls because I have difficulty hearing or hearing loss. It could be that I have, like, welcome to our waiting room, this living room. It could be that I have some sensory items.
Okay.
And like a weighted item, things like that, medication management items. All right. So it can be anything, communication devices. Okay. So what I love about this space, we were able to acquire this space and deck it out as a smart home because of our partnerships with the Oklahoma Healthcare Authority and Oklahoma Human Services. All right. And so what we wanted to do was take this smaller office space and show people how they could have items either they already had, like your favorite couch, or specialized items to help them either live more independently or care for somebody so that that person could live independently. And it does provide respite for folks. So this would be a functional waiting room, but it's also showing you a living room.
Yeah.
I am noticing Bluey. Are you familiar with Bluey?
Love Bluey.
Okay, we love Bluey at our house too. And this is set up so that we've got some smart home tech connected to it and even a gaming system. Do you game?
I game.
Okay.
Gaming. I know this an Xbox.
Yes, so as soon as you came in. Okay, so we've got our Xbox and maybe, this is what I heard. I do not game, but I did hear there's like a Bluey game.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a few Bluey
games.
Yes.
Okay. So here's how something like this would work. I have this remote, or do you call it it's a controller?
It's a controller.
You have a controller and you're using this controller to play. Is that what you would use? Okay. I might need this modified controller.
Okay.
So it's got the bigger item or the bigger target. Mm-hmm. And look at all of these ports.
Okay, so what all can I put in?
Okay, so you can put things, they're called switches, all right? And so a switch is, it's just kind of like this, where I hit this and this thing happens, okay? So these are all the ports and all of the controls. And what I heard from gamers is that they want these anyway, because they want to be more adept at, I don't know, mostly it's like shooting games, I think.
Right.
Yeah, so we have things like that. Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
I think it's the cat.
Sounds like a cat somewhere.
Okay, I'm just gonna segue and show you this cat because I think it's meowing.
Okay.
All right. So this is actually a companion animal, and it's called a robotic pet. And it was what was making noise.
That's not a real cat.
It's not a real cat. Did you think it was?
It sounds like a real cat.
Okay, do you like cats?
I'm more of a dog person, but this seems like a cat I could get used to.
It is literally purring at you.
It is. Can I hold this cat?
Hold the cat, pet the cat, brush the cat, love the cat.
Wow.
Okay? So I will tell you These companion animals, we have the cat and the dog.
Yeah.
It won't shed. It won't bite. You don't have to feed and water it. So there are some families who maybe they had an animal, a pet, and they are going to be, this was one of my calls, they're going to go into assisted living and they will not be able to bring their pet with them. So we might want to give them one of these pets that would still provide them companionship, but if by chance they forget to feed it or it's okay, it will not die. You just have to change the batteries. Not bad.
Not bad.
Is it-
Staring at
It
me.
is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Are you creeped out?
Sometimes it's a little creepy, but it is soft.
It
and
is
it's
soft.
cute.
It's, I mean, love it. You can love it as long as you want to. I love the cat more, even though the dog is pretty cute too, but it will roll over for you. Like the more you pet it.
Really?
Yeah.
The cat will roll over.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, okay, you hang on to that. I will show you some other things.
Okay.
Actually, I love this. We have a couple of switches right here. So like these are the types of buttons I could plug into this controller and then otherwise play this game with you. If maybe I can't use the regular controller.
Right.
Or maybe just because I want to.
So
Okay.
anybody could play the game.
Anyone can.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I will say, sometimes you want to buy the thing that's just right for your home and it's already adapted, but sometimes you want to buy the thing that matches and looks good, like maybe you love this couch. So what we've done here is we've put together furniture that maybe you could get on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's specialized. This couch in particular, we have set up with sensors. So maybe you're gaming, you're hanging out with your cat, and I am your caregiver, and I need to make sure that you are safe while I run into the kitchen to make dinner or otherwise take a moment for myself. I can have that sensor alert me when you get off the couch.
Really?
We can put it on chairs, and anyway, it can work a lot of different ways.
That seems great. That seems great, but also I feel like this could be used against me.
It could.
Okay.
Who's using it against you?
My wife, my children, anyone. I feel like.
All of a sudden, it's like timeout.
Yeah.
You actually have to stay there.
Yeah.
It has a timeout alert on it. I don't know, maybe.
This kitty is so loud. And
It is
purring.
loud. I can
Yeah.
hear it. Okay, how familiar are you with weighted items?
Love weighted items and
Okay.
weighted blankets.
Okay, so we have different weighted items. We have the weighted lap pad.
Mm-hmm.
We have blankets. We have vests. We even have, we call them stuffies at our house. And we have weighted like turtles and,
Mm-hmm.
a sloth or a monkey and your neck. Anyway, so we love these. They do help with some regulation, and some people just use them at night. Some people use them when they need to be focused on a task or before a task.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, when people come in here, for example, and we can show them around and let them try these things out, we will actually call that one of our core programs. It's a demonstration. I'm going to show you these things and help you make an informed decision about which one will meet your needs. Okay?
Okay.
In particular, these are just like fidgets or other sensory. You may trade you.
Yeah. Well, I want to.
I'll hold your cat if you can hold that.
Oh.
You put your
That's
put your
very
head.
nice of you.
Yes, you're welcome. So that works kind of like a hoodie. Like, if you feel cozy in a hoodie.
Oh yeah, like your.
So you got it.
It's like a big hug.
It's got fidgets.
Got fidgets on it. Yeah.
And so one of the things we have seen is some civic groups, like maybe Boy Scouts of America and Girl Scouts, they will make these for individuals. Very popular with, say, the Alzheimer's Association.
Mm.
You can do things like pillows. This has a pillow. You can even do blankets. And we've seen people do boards too that have lots of different latches on. It's still purring.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Very cool. Other things that work, say in a living room setting, would be maybe some different types of remotes for your TV. So maybe I have trouble seeing the buttons or touching the buttons. I don't need that many buttons. It's too visually cluttering for me. Mm-hmm. So I might get this remote that only says volume up and volume down and on, off, mute. So if you're not sure which one you need, come in, you can try it. And then our short-term loan program lets us send that home with you to try it in your own home to see if it really works.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can come in, I can try all of this out.
You got it.
Like I could sit right here on the couch.
Yes, you can.
And have one arm in this thing.
Yeah.
I could turn on the Xbox and I could just sit here and game for a little bit.
You could. And if that helps you make a decision about what you need.
Oh, fantastic.
We'd be here with you.
Sign me up. Oh, well,
We can have a
great.
kitchen, some snacks.
Okay.
Do you drink coffee?
Of course I drink.
That's the question I was going to ask you. How are you up this line and going to be ready for your big thing tonight?
Oh, I've had lots of coffee.
Coffee. Okay. I drink a lot of coffee too. Okay. I don't know that anybody can tell that either of us drinks coffee.
No.
Okay.
There's no energy here at all.
Right. So I've been trying to like tone it down though.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Thanks. Okay, I want to show you this bedroom. Okay.
I noticed the bed as soon as I could.
What I wanted
Don't often see a bed in an office area.
Okay, that is exactly right. So when we were able to collaborate with Oklahoma Human Services to do the smart home space, we agreed that we could do two spots. One's in Stillwater and one's in Oklahoma City. So this company actually said, can we give you a bed to put on display and you could demonstrate it to people? And so this is the site. And I want you to know, I don't know how to drive this very well, but I want to try to show you. Okay, what I hope I don't do is like
people can fit in this bed?
make you a taco. How many people do you think could fit in the bed?
Yeah, well, that's
Do you need to fit in the bed? Okay, I'm gonna hit some buttons. Are you up for this?
Yep, let's see it.
Okay, ready?
Oh, okay.
How you doing?
Great. Sitting me up. I like that.
Okay, one of the things I didn't tell you is that in addition to just being a very amazing and adjustable bed, like I can go up and down with everything. Oh, that's, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was admiring the mirror.
Okay, well, not sure. It's not like a rear view mirror, but
It is like a rear view mirror.
it is like a rear view mirror.
Yeah, I kind of just want one of those for my bed right now.
Seriously, we won't loan for that reason. Okay, hold on. Here's the deal. I need you to know that when I hit this button to show you how this can also be a lift chair, you're almost going to look like you're in a taco.
Okay.
How are you feeling limber?
Tacos, so
Okay. If it's too much, you got to let me know.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
cool. It's working.
Zero gravity, and you're moving me. You're turning.
I am, and I'm going to move this. That is just like a bedside table. But it has something that I love the name. It's called a buttonhole or zipper pull. Can you say that 5 times fast? Jake.
That sounds like something that I would want by my bed.
Potentially, it would help you be dressed independently. Buttonhole or zipper pull helps you button your buttons and unbutton them and zip and unzip.
That's fantastic. This is like
How are you feeling?
taking me out. This is great.
Okay, good. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
And I can just get up really easily.
That is right. So without any, hopefully, pain or putting you in a bad position.
Yeah. Can you take those home too?
So
tonight?
this bed you can take home. But what we would do, so there are some cases that we can't simulate what you would have at home.
Mhm.
So we're just going to do a demo. But what we would do is we would connect you with the vendor, because sometimes they're able to do things that we cannot do because this one has to stay here. That's such a good question. That thing just waved at you. Did you see it?
I didn't see it, but I trust you.
Oh, I wonder if it's on camera. Okay, so from here, I want you to check out our bathroom situation.
This is fantastic. I've been eyeballing it.
Okay, so this is part of our bathroom demo space.
Yeah.
And then we've outfitted one of these other restrooms over here. So what I love about this one, when we first sort of visualized this idea, we had a really small space. So we were trying to fit a little dining space and kitchen space and this shower all in a very small office. Okay, so we had this constructed to kind of simulate what we needed. But you could do this a lot of different ways. This is just one example. Okay, we've got the no skid mats. We've got the different grab bars. We have a couple of these different nozzles, and this one in particular I like because it will go up and down. So if you're
this is a shower head,
not a microphone.
Okay.
It could be a microphone.
Because I feel like we could do karaoke in here. Yeah.
I think you can.
Okay.
And we are missing jams. Like I've noticed.
Yes.
If you did want jams and karaoke, you should be able to have
Some
that.
speakers and stuff in here as well.
Voice activated.
And the dream is just to be able to sit down.
You got it.
I love this. It's fantastic.
So some of the things this reutilization program has is it takes in donations from people in Oklahoma. Things like this, bedside commode, a walker, things like shower chairs and bath benches, even grab bars. People will donate all of these things. We bring them in, We get them cleaned up and sanitized, and then people can ask for them, and we will give them back out for free.
Okay.
There is also a scale. We have
Okay.
this is the other thing I forget to say. Some of these are things that you would just maybe want otherwise.
Right.
Okay.
They're just
You would just buy it.
that I would like to have. Yeah.
So this scale is one that it's a smart scale. So
Okay.
it will connect to things like your phone and help you with some of your health goals, things like that.
Okay. So I can stand on it. It's going to tell me my weight, but it's also going to connect to my health.
Yes, and it's going to do other stuff. And I
That's
think
awesome.
you're supposed to be barefoot. So I mean, you got
Okay,
shoes
so
on, but whatever.
Probably not.
Whatever. If you want to try it, I'll let you.
That's cool. I know what my weight is.
Okay, so in this space, we've kind of got like our waiting area, we've got the bedroom, bathroom, and then otherwise you're just gonna see some different items. Like, are you noticing that this is captioning every word I say?
This is, yes, everything. Everything that you say, everything that I say.
And it has correct punctuation.
It does. This is amazing.
So these are tools. I mentioned it before, but we help people of all ages, all disabilities all over the state. So something like this, we might actually use in a classroom setting.
Okay, so that was my question, because I was just going to say, suppose you're a college professor,
Like by
you could really use something to keep up with what you say.
Yes.
This could work in there.
You could try it.
That's fantastic.
So one, I noticed, it took me a minute, but like captions even on movies. Do you do that? Do you watch movies with captions?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
They used to be distracting, and now I'm kind of used to it. That in a classroom, so thinking about a person who needs that because they have difficulty hearing or paying attention, it's going to be very helpful for them, but it could just be helpful to anybody else in the classroom too. So that's a great tool. We have some other ones here that work with amplification. So like this one, you as a professor would wear it. You wear the lanyard.
So this is actually a microphone.
It is a microphone.
Okay.
And it's a touch screen. And
You just wear it like
you wear it like
around
that.
the neck.
And the way that this technology works in particular is that it communicates with other technology that has this Roger technology in it. Okay.
Tell me what that is.
Okay. So are you familiar with FM radio stations?
Yeah, of course.
Like you listen in your car?
Yeah.
What are you listening to?
80s rock.
I could have guessed that. So it's like we know each other, that we've just met.
It's crazy.
Okay, so here's how it happened. You're in your car. You're about to arrive at your place where you will be a professor, and your radio station's coming in a little fuzzy, and maybe
Right.
you're hearing two radio stations at one time.
Yep.
Okay, that's like an FM technology versus this Roger technology, which is like the audio signal receiver. It's traveling on one highway, only going that one path. You won't have interference. So like say you're using this in one classroom, another professor's using one in the other classroom. They should not interfere like the other technology might. Okay. Then for my student, I can do lots of different things. They might have a function on their hearing aids if they're wearing aids, and they could change that setting so that you're amplified right into their hearing aids, not wearing headphones or other. We also have, they look like a hearing aid, but very discreet, going behind the ear. Anyway, so they could do that. This also connects to other classroom amplification systems. So as we talked about, captioning's helping everybody. Right. You could do amplification that helps everybody. And if they have an ear level receiver, it would just amplify more. So
that's fantastic. So this could be used at home.
It can.
At school. Just really anywhere that amplification is needed. That's great.
We do have, I haven't seen one in a minute. It's a bed shaker.
Okay, so we just spent some quality time in bed. Tell me what a bed shaker is.
Okay, so all of a sudden I'm thinking about my 12-year-old who is awful to wake up. Okay, I don't know if you have this problem.
Yeah, it depends
on the day.
We actually have some pretty decent sleeping kids, but
I love
sometimes they don't want to get out of bed.
Okay, so whether they just don't want to get out of bed, or maybe they can't hear the alarm because they have hearing aids, they've taken them out at night. Okay. Yeah. What I can do is I can connect something like a bed shaker to an alarm clock or another alert device. So think smoke alarm.
Okay.
Because a lot of times smoke alarms are going to do sound and lights.
Right.
But when you're asleep, you're not going to sense those. But the bed shaker can go under a pillow or under a layer of your mattress and shake you awake.
So this is a pretty good shake then.
It is a good shake.
Is there anything else like is there any other, like, I'm thinking like smoke detector goes off,
Right.
like how do you differentiate between
One
that
from the
and waking up?
Yes. So what I've been told is that there can be some, maybe the shake is just one kind of shake to wake you up, but maybe the lights are going to be different colors. So it's going to say this one, your bed, or I'm sorry, somebody's at your door is the white light, and the red is there's a fire.
Okay.
So if you see one versus the other, you know,
Yeah.
it could
So
be an
we've
emergency
got
post.
the bed shaking, we've got lights going, it's like
A party.
college all over it. Yes.
Okay, I love it too. So I have been telling you kind of about some amplification, things that amplify, things that caption or give you visual.
Yeah.
I'm noticing we have some noise canceling headphones too,
Yeah.
which are very popular with more of our kiddos.
Yeah.
Younger.
Sometimes, I put mine on when my kiddos are talking to me. No, isn't that
What are you
terrible?
saying? I can hear you better when I wear these.
You're
Is that
right.
what you say?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or I say, leave daddy alone.
I'm on to you. I love it. Okay, I want to show you some of the things over here.
Okay.
So again, this is kind of equipped with different types of things. So maybe I'm going to magnify, or maybe you could talk on the phone independently, but you need these big buttons to touch and see, and you cannot remember phone numbers. You need to be able to see the picture of the person you want to talk to and dial quickly. So we have different things modified that way.
Something like that,
like just you
2
in
a.m.
general.
on the weekends. Yeah.
Wait a second. That is what you should be teaching your kids. I mean, I think they should grow up knowing these things.
Yeah.
But that's just me. We did.
Yeah, we both were drawn to this.
We're drawn to
This
that.
feels like something I could put anywhere in my house.
You can technically put it anywhere in your home.
Okay.
So what it can help you do is it can be your eyes when you are not there. So just like we were talking about the sensor on the couch or on a chair, this can be put in a room where maybe you are not there, maybe you're not even at the home, and you can monitor a situation from afar.
Okay.
So there are different systems and different options, and those are the things we will talk through in a demonstration to help you figure out which one might work for you, because we're helping you make decisions.
Right.
And you can do this a couple different ways. So I can have the sensors and other equipment alert me as a caregiver remotely.
Mm-hmm.
I could also maybe have a third party involved, and so they're helping me with the monitoring. So we can connect folks with any of those things. I have not told you about some of the apparel. So there might be kiddos in particular, or maybe adults maybe kids who run off, and maybe adults who wander. There's clothing that you can put, it's already equipped with the sensor, and then you can track.
So you just put the sensor in, or it has a sensor in it, so you can track.
And then they're wearing it,
so
and you
it's
track
like
them.
Connected to your smartphone.
Smartphone, yeah.
Oh,
and it looks like there's an app that you use with it.
This also feels like something that could be used against me.
That's true. We have fidgets. We also have, do you do fidgets?
I do fidgets, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I do too. And we have a huge variety of fidgets. So most of them are located in our Stillwater site on the campus of Oklahoma State University. And so what we do is most of the time we take requests for borrowing, and it's through our short-term loan program. And you might say, I want to borrow this set of fidgets, or I want to try this wearable device to help me with a health goal. We will box that up and ship it to you, and you will try it like we were talking about earlier. Try it in your own environment and see if it meets your needs.
Okay.
How
long is that trial for?
I love that you asked. So thank you for asking. Most of the items you can loan or borrow for up to 6 weeks.
Okay.
But those high-tech speech generating devices, we try to top it like 4 weeks.
Okay.
They are expensive, and we don't have so many of them.
Right.
And so we need to get those back in, get them cleaned up, and get them right back out, because there's typically a waiting list.
Okay.
So, but we try for 6 weeks. Have you noticed anything on the shelf that you might just have otherwise in your home? Like, doesn't look special in any type of way?
Yeah, like magnifying glasses we have, we have those over our Legos.
That is such a good idea.
Yeah. I also noticed the Ring setup.
Right.
We have a Ring camera. So tell me how how this, because this is just something that
Mm-hmm.
I have.
It is.
How is this beneficial for me as a caregiver?
So if it's going to help me do something I otherwise couldn't do, I could either have this be for my person who I'm caring for, so they can see who's at the door before they're going to go open that door or not open it at all. That's a safety mechanism. Otherwise, between that and things like some of the other sensory or remote monitoring things, and even like your Roomba, it's something you literally could buy off the shelf, but it's helping you do the thing you otherwise could not do, especially if I have a mobility impairment or I have some other impaired judgment.
Yeah.
Right?
That's so cool. So
yeah, keeping you safe.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think, again, others can monitor with it. So I can use the ring and I can monitor from afar. And then maybe I can let the person in who I know is supposed to be let in to help you, whatnot.
I like that.
Yep. Okay. I want to show you this next. So I was telling you that our original idea was to fit all of these things kind of mini size into a small space.
Right.
So when we were looking at our dining option, we went for this really great sewing table. That's what this is.
Okay, so this is a sewing
on
table.
Amazon.
That's amazing.
Okay, and so it all fits like nice and tidy in, and you
Right.
can fold it out. We loved this one though because any chair could be pulled right up to it,
Yeah.
including a wheelchair.
I love this because I feel like this could go next to the bed, next to the couch. It's all compact. Like, I feel like I would never have to leave.
You-
Where was this when I was a bachelor?
I don't know. It's out there now though. Okay, so on this in particular, you're going to see this kind of adapted tableware sets. Lots of features for me to talk to you about. Things like even just shelf liner. So this is acting like a grip so that I'm going to keep my things steady as I am feeding myself, okay? Because that would be my goal. I might have different types of silverware, adapted handles.
Right.
We even have some 3D printed handles
Okay.
that you can just put on any utensil you already own. These are also red. So different people are attracted to and want to use different colored items. And so red for certain groups is attractive for people to use. So we've got our scooped side. So again, maybe you give me this to eat with and I can do that independently.
Okay.
Whereas otherwise I need your help to eat. So we have lots of different types of cups and things like that as well that have different grips. So there is one that you can't knock over. It's a cup I can't knock it over. Yeah. I need it. Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
It's like magic. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Okay. There is something you can't look at what the card says.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
I have no idea. I was going to ask you about this. Like, I feel like it's probably something else that shakes. But I don't want to assume things.
It shouldn't shake.
Okay.
It does look like a bed shaker.
It does.
It will clip your fingernails.
Really?
Yeah, it will.
How is this?
I'm not going to show you. However, you put your fingernail right there, and it will.
And it just flips it for you.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Isn't that great?
I really would love to use it. I just clipped my fingernail, but
me too.
Next time I'm here, I want to use that.
Okay, we'll have you try it. All right. Okay, I want to show you the kitchenette next.
Okay, let's see the kitchen.
Okay, so another time, this is when I like to kind of compare what we've done in Stillwater to what we've done here. This one is truly a kitchenette. It's all very small. And when we thought that what we were buying was going to fit in a really small space, we looked high and low for a sink that already had a modesty panel. And we found this on a website that sold science lab equipment.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, and so we've
all kinds of stuff.
Bunsen burner.
Yeah.
Yeah, were you like trying to light your, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Okay, and all of this. So maybe you have things that are smart in your appliances. One of the things we also want to showcase is that there are no cupboards. Like I don't have another barrier. I can visually see what I want. I can access it easily. We also have time timers showing in here. If anybody's hassling you about like when's dinner ready, you can tell them that will be 10 minutes.
Oh, that'd be great.
And then they can see that.
I'm the cook in my family, and I really need people out of my kitchen.
Right. Okay. You could try it. Otherwise, we have a few other things. So again, kind of small just to fit in here. But this, I want you to know, I was here last week. and I really like spicy noodles, and I wanted to heat them up, and I thought I was just gonna have to wait for them to become soggy because I couldn't figure out how to work the microwave. But this, did you notice there's no visual display here?
There's nothing, but this kind of looks like a speaker.
It is a speaker, so this is gonna talk to you. Are you ready for this?
Something else I need at 2 a.m. on the weekend.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay, a whole plan is developing in my mind right now for you. Okay, so I did get help, and it was marvelous, but did you hear it?
I did.
Okay. Can you hear it? Give me the auditory feedback when I hit the buttons. So I can click the button. I can take this and make it 1, 2, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I hit start, and it's going to talk me through the whole thing.
That is fantastic.
Isn't that great?
That. Yeah.
We have some other things. So I like showing this one because we have several things that help a person who might be using one hand or arm to cook.
Mm-hmm.
So this will hold your pot.
Hold my pot.
Hold your pot handle.
Oh, the handle. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And okay, I didn't tell you about this either. I think this will actually change colors to tell you that that pot is hot.
Really?
Yes.
This.
Yes, the strawberry. And check this out though. So, and then I have this for my small space, right?
Yeah.
There are some handles I can use to adapt stoves that say you already have a stove, you don't have the stove. I can put the handles on there and adjust them for like, hey, it can sense that my water's been boiling too long or my oven's been on too long, and it'll turn off. So it's like a smart feature there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So you don't have to turn any knobs.
You don't. And if people are free, no, you don't. Also, I've got a one-handed cutting board.
Okay.
It will hold whatever you're going to cut for you, and then you can just chop it up.
Oh, that's fantastic.
How's that?
I feel like all of this I could use on the weekend.
Okay, what is so great about this is that I think most people can use it.
Right.
And it's just that maybe you do need it, and then you benefit from it.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you to the restroom next.
Oh.
Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Well, we've been in their bedroom.
All right. So, yeah.
Okay, so one of the ways we modified the restroom, and I got to tell you, we actually had an aging in place specialist help us.
Okay.
And one of my biggest takeaways from her was that you can modify spaces, and it doesn't have to feel like a hospital room. It can be elegant, it can be modern. So just something just like this mirror that tilt.
Okay.
Having maybe this holder for my toothbrush, having the toothpaste dispense automatically. I kind of want that too.
I would love that, yes.
Anything automatic is usually very helpful. The handles, just the design of the handles would be helpful, but we have 3D printed some pieces to go on handles to make them more accessible. Adding things like grab bars, having a bidet. Sounds fancy.
It does. Everything that you have shown me that could be sat on, I want.
The seat right there.
Yeah.
We also we're showing you how to have like a different type of closet, okay? Mm-hmm. So this actually is functional, so it's holding our cleaning stuff, and then it's housing some Able Tech swag. Yeah. Okay, so I want to show you, this is our office space. So in addition to being the smart home space, we also have offices. And so that's where, the hard work is.
Right.
But we have tons of storage. We receive donations from people all over the state. Okay. And including, oh my gosh, it's like we just timed that. Wow. And I'm so glad I can catch.
I'm glad you can too.
Right?
Yeah.
Adult
from nowhere.
diapers.
Okay.
Okay, but not opened or used.
Not opened or used.
You
okay.
got it. Okay, we have standards here.
That's good.
All right. So if you have these types of things, common blood pressure monitor, blood glucose monitor, we receive those items, and if they have been used, sometimes they're donated brand new. But if they've been used, we're going to clean it up, get it ready, and give it back out to people for free.
Oh, fantastic.
That's the program we collaborate with Oklahoma Healthcare Authority to offer. Okay. Now, most of those items I'm about to show you are durable medical equipment. Okay. So it can withstand reuse and otherwise would help in a medical nature.
Okay.
But there are families who are getting rid of things that could help another person, but they may not be of this, like different wedges. We've seen this like for body positioning. Things like that, they can be cleaned. We can reuse them.
Okay.
If it can't be cleaned, like mattresses, we can't accept mattresses. We can't accept oxygen, medications, sharps, those things we can't. But pretty much anything else that could be reused by somebody else, we can accept it.
Okay.
So, okay, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I want to show you our warehouse.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, you will see more adult diapers.
There are a lot of adult diapers. Yes. Wow.
And you might see Peyton working over there. Hi, Peyton. Okay, so this is our warehouse, all right? And everything you should see, if it's ready to go to somebody, it is going to have like a clear bag on it, and it's going to have a tag on it with a number. So what we want to do is we want people to be able to go online and view these items, whether it's a wheelchair, which is like transport wheelchair or manual or power wheelchair, walkers, knee walkers, okay? All of this, we want you to be able to look online, see if it meets your needs, and request it from our program. We have people who work here who are going to make sure that you're a right fit for the item that you've chosen. Okay, so we want to be safe about our matching. Anyway, so you can kind of look around. You've already seen bedside commode.
Yeah.
And these do get donated. Sometimes they don't come with all the parts, like wheelchairs are missing their footrests or these pants. We're able to purchase those items to make it ready to go out the door.
Okay.
And so, yep, we clean it. The way coolest thing. It's like a huge dishwasher, but you can put a wheelchair in it.
Okay.
And it's right down here.
This giant
The
machine down
big
there.
contraption, yes.
Yeah.
And we can walk down there and see it. Basically, you can put a wheelchair in there, or you can put these items in there, and they get sanitized with a cleaner, and then when they come out, they flash dry.
Okay.
So
Fantastic.
then we can inventory those. You can find it online. And
Like that would be great for my 12-year-old too.
right. You want to put them in and flash dry them?
Flash dry.
Do you get them in? Like showering is another thing.
He likes to be in the water, like he likes the shower, but he doesn't want to be under the shower. So I don't know how
That's a sweet
cleans.
spot.
Yeah.
Soap? I don't know.
It's weird.
I did learn they didn't know you were supposed to use soap. It's like raising a kid. It's just hard work. Okay. I will also say, because when I look around, I see lots of different things. You're going to see things for adults. You're going to see things for kids. Like some of them have stickers, which are super cute. So we do have pediatric durable medical equipment. And because kiddos, they will have this item and then they will outgrow it. Okay. And then it's still in good working order. Somebody else could use that.
Right.
So we partner with other individuals like Bethany Children's Health Center and JD McCarty Center. They're going to have items like this to match. And then who else? Even Sooner Start, the early intervention program for birth to 3, they'll have items kind of like this.
Okay.
Lifts.
Yeah, tell me about these, because this looks like a home workout system.
It is for somebody.
For somebody?
It's a home workout system. So you have different types of lifts, and you do need a sling with it.
Okay.
So imagine what that bed did automatically.
Right.
But this is the manual version.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to help you get out of bed into the sling. I might then transport you over to the bathroom so you can toilet. So I can do that. Trapeze bar, absolutely. You can do some pull-ups, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other things. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, let's these canes.
Okay.
Okay, because I have seen a lot of canes. We get a lot of these as donations. I have never seen so many colorful canes. This one has cats, which aren't your favorite. So we've got dogs. And then we've got Lisa Frank style right here. Do you remember Lisa Frank?
Yeah, absolutely.
Me too.
It's very cool. Even with cats on it. That's very cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you be a cat lover by the time we're done? And we're just like brainwashing you.
It is. I love that I can be stylish and functional all at the same time.
I love it.
Isn't it great?
Well, this too, when I look at it, I'll kind of hang it back. Look at how many different kinds there are.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much you know about canes. I don't know a ton, but they have different feet. Some have 4, some have 1, wider base, different sizes. Dude, this bird one, it looks like a bird.
Oh, it does. It does. I feel like.
And it adjusts.
There's one where maybe like
there's a weapon inside. I knew you were going to say that. Okay, it's true. Okay, we have more walkers. We have hospital beds too, electric and semi-electric. Hello. And we do take a lot of these donations. So here's one of the things I'll tell you. Say you request one of these items, all right? If it is something we can mail to you, we will mail it to you.
Okay.
But a lot of them are big, as you can tell, like these lifts and the hospital beds. So we are going to put them in the van.
Okay.
And probably you're going to be on a route and we're going to deliver to you. And while we're out, we may even pick up some donations.
Okay.
So we are 100% run off of donations.
Okay.
And
so if I want to donate something, how do I do that?
Okay. So I have these flyers here, so I can tell you all about that. It's like you knew that we needed to talk about it. And like strategically, I'm going to kind of face this way and I'm going to tell you about it over here. Okay. So because we're run off of donations, we need all the help we can get. We will have, basically, you can contact us. You can call our phone number, 405-967-6010. I feel like I could have done that better, like a game show host, but
I thought it was
great.
that
okay?
No,
okay.
it was great.
Okay.
Can we have, like, in the phone that we saw up there, could we have your picture over that number?
You could.
That would
Pointing.
be fantastic.
Okay.
Right.
I love it. Okay. A full size cutout. Okay. You can also you can email us and ask us this, and we can put you on our schedule. So at AT Reuse, so REUSE at okstate.edu. Okay. If you don't remember any of that, you can go, I'm going to tell you one more. You can go to okabletech.org. Okay. All right. And all of our programs. So we talked about demonstrations to help you make a decision, short-term loan, you're going to borrow it. Then we talked about reutilization, which is this main program here. And we also have an alternative financing program I haven't even told you about.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about
that.
So
that one is another way we help people acquire what they need. Okay, we are not just replaying another agency's responsibility to provide. Like if you're a student and you need it for your IEP, for example, the school may work to provide that a different way. We're not going to give it to a person. Okay. But when an item is either received in here as a donation, we can give it away. Or maybe you want to own that brand new thing. We collaborate with a nonprofit and Bank First of Stillwater, and we are able to offer low interest financial loans, and you can purchase the thing you need, and then it's yours.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's a great one.
And we can find all the information
all on the website, okabletech.org. So absolutely, if you guys have things, so anything that can be reused and we can clean it up and it can meet another person's needs, and we do that all for free.
I love it. That's good. And
so many adult diapers. It is so curious, but I guess it's an easy one for people to donate. Yeah. And it's happened, a couple of groups have wanted to do like a drive, and they'll collect something that we need, including things like this, or maybe blood pressure monitors, because we have such a big wait list for things like blood pressure monitors, and they're not that expensive. And so a group could do a fundraiser, get new ones, and then they donate them to us. Then we can give them back out. Do you see anything else that you're like, absolutely? So one of the things, like, we have this van. So if you ever see this van with this big magnet on the side, you honk and wave at them because they will help you. But we actually get this from OSU Motor Pool. Nice. They outfit it with this lift. So we have a driver. Actually, by the time this video airs, I need it to be known. We need a driver. We are hiring. Okay. So that's just a little side note. Okay. But so what we would do is we would have that driver, they would use this vehicle, and they go all over the state. But because it has a lift, they can take all of those heavy items, the wheelchairs, hospital beds, not the cool bed that we tried, but all those other things, and pick them up, especially, and we do have donation sites too. So all of it's online. If you can't make it to one of our, Oklahoma City or Stillwater, we have some drop-off sites in Tulsa and things like that. We can go kind of capture those items.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And there's a tax write-off. So you can actually get a form, and we can denote the value of that item. And then once you've donated it, you can put that in your taxes.
That's awesome.
That you donated.
I absolutely love that.
Isn't that great?
That is great. So we're helping each other out.
We are.
But we're also getting to reap some of the benefit of that.
We are.
And it's just like a never-ending circle.
I love
that.
it.
Yeah,
I do
it's
too.
great.
Okay, we have had the best helpers along with us. I don't know if we forgot to say anything. We're hiring. We need donations.
We got the website.
Got the website.
Did it all.
Yeah.
I feel like
Is that it?
covered it.
All right. Okay. Well, if anybody has any questions, they can ask. I hope you'll come back.
I will, for sure.
And I really think it would be great if you came to see the Stillwater site.
Oh, I would love to.
I mean, you said go Pokes.
Yeah, go Pokes.
Okay, so there we are. All right. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for
It's
having
so
me.
good to meet
So
you.
good to meet you.
Thank you so much, Allyson and Bobby. We really appreciate you demonstrating how people can use assistive technology to live more independently and at home. I know, like they mentioned in the video, we do have some of that here at Bethany Children's, and I have seen it impact so many lives. Thank you for highlighting all of those.
Well, that was just such a fun day. I got to learn so much about all of the technology that's out there to assist our loved ones, and I loved it. I can't wait to go back and try some more of that out. But I think, Ashleigh, it's time for us to refuel a little bit. So before we break for lunch, how about another giveaway?
Sounds great.
I know everyone is ready for that. So, everybody, let's get our little drum rolls going again. And for our gift card winner, we have Ember Boland. Yay. And then our book giveaways. We have April Smart, Marcus Loggins, Jenifer Cleveland, Elizabeth Buckley, and once again at the Okmulgee Watch Party, Angela Fields. Congratulations to all of our lucky winners. Your prizes will be mailed to you to the address you entered when you registered. And for those of you that are at Watch Party sites, please remember that you need to get signed in to be eligible to receive any of the giveaways that we will have after lunch. So, Ashleigh?
We are so excited for those folks that won and are grateful that you've registered. We're now going to take our lunch break. And so you are welcome to have your lunch. And then we will plan to see you all back here at 12 o'clock for our continued caregiver conference today. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we'll see you after lunch.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the 8th Annual Oklahoma Caregiver Conference, the Caregivers Compass. Let's dive right into our afternoon session.
We are so excited to kick off this afternoon session. And Bobby, I think we should kick it off with a gift card drawing. What do you say? Who are the next lucky winners going to be?
Well, that sounds like a great idea, Ashleigh. Everybody get your drum rolls going. Here we go. Our next winners for gift cards from the Ardmore Watch Party, Jessica Cox. From Enid, Jackie Hogue. From McAllister, Vicky Lake. From right here in OKC, Melanie Moore. From Stillwater, Avery McCloskey. From Tulsa, Joe Jones. And watching online, Lisa Robertson. Congratulations to all of our winners.
Congratulations, everybody. Thanks for registering and staying on board.
So every day, countless Oklahomans step up to care for their loved ones. They are parents, grandparents, siblings, and friends, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. For the past 8 years, OK Cares has invited amazing family caregivers to share their stories. Today, we are honored to introduce you to 3 Oklahoma caregivers from across the lifespan who will inspire us all with their stories, their challenges, and their hopes for the future. Please watch this powerful video as they share their stories.
So we became a caregiver when our daughter Isla was diagnosed with trisomy 18 at 17 weeks. And then she was born 10 weeks early, so she was born at 30 weeks. We had a lot of unknowns, but we really wanted to give her every opportunity in life and just kind of follow her lead and see what she wanted to do in this world. She was in the NICU 144 days. She ended up getting a trach, a GJ tube, and is ventilator dependent. So we just kind of took those, one step at a time, and then tried to prepare as much as we could to become caregivers once she got home from the NICU.
So you can see in her doctor from the day she was born, I don't think I'll ever forget that conversation with the neonatologist. But and then after the course of almost 5 months in the NICU, and coming home, I think it was surprised everybody.
And I even think, like even from when she was first diagnosed, expectations of quality of life are very different than what we've lived. I mean, we see her smiling and laughing every day, and she loves to touch her toes and suck on her hands just like any other baby.
I think for me, it was like one of the biggest fears was probably just, the fear of the unknown, not really knowing what, the future held. And I think just kind of taking, things day by day. And
I think some of the biggest challenges we've faced were when we discharged from the hospital. We didn't have any nursing when we first came home, and we both work full-time jobs. So just kind of figuring out how to juggle full-time work, and we have a 3-year-old as well. So, and then juggling, a newborn on a trach and a ventilator, and a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I think definitely, like she said, just the really learning how to navigate our new life, with family and our marriage, and Emmett, our son, and then with Isla coming home.
What gives me joy is just seeing both kids really thrive. I mean, for our daughter, it's exciting to see, her hit milestones, whether it be, big or small, and several months delayed, of course, but even like the first time she smiled is exciting to see.
But I think, yeah, just the bond that the two kids have, like with Emmett, our son, going in, and he'll ask, before bed if he can hold Isla, and trying to get her to laugh and stuff.
Yeah, and he always, used to, I would always read him a book, but now that she's gotten a little older, he likes for me to read to both of them, and so he'll get a pillow out for both of them to lay on while we read a book. And so it's been exciting, like even when she got her hearing aids, to see her interact more, being able to hear. I think something that's really helped us balance responsibilities is just our support system and making sure we ask for help. We've been very grateful to have nursing during the week, and then like our family is a huge help in helping care for our son during the week as well.
Yeah, I think one thing we've done in order to kind of prioritize, our marriage in through this journey has been just continuing to prioritize each other, and understanding that even though you may be, exhausted, like we've still got a partner, in each other, to lean on and cry on and laugh with, and kind of enjoy, the goods and the bads, as they come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've been really lucky that, that we have family that like our son can go stay with grandparents for the night, so that we get a night, just the two of us with Isla or something. But we can really spend more time together.
So I'm a caregiver for my daughter. I think some of the fun things that mothers and daughters go and do when they're, like my daughter would be college age or just finishing, all of her peers just graduated from college this spring. So, there's just some things that we don't get to do that mother and adult daughters get to do together, because it's still much more of a parenting role than it is kind of maneuvering to a friendship, yet you're still a guidance to your adult child. And so I think that's the piece that makes our world a little different than a lot of people's. It's not bad, it's just different, because we're at this place where we're in the middle, we're 22 and we're, figuring out the rest of our lives, and just knowing that maybe this is what the rest of our life looks like. It's more overwhelming in this season. We want her to have a purposeful, meaningful, fulfilled life, just like any parent would for their child. So we are just currently in a season of trial and error and trying to figure out what that might be or what that might look like. A constant resource that has been a huge support would be the Down Syndrome Association of Central Oklahoma. And through friendships and mentoring and just being able to have conversations with other parents and caregivers who get it, if you will, and or maybe they are just ahead of you in this game of life, and so maybe they have either just experienced some struggles or some things that you're heading into. It's just nice to know that you're not alone. I get up like 2 hours before anyone else does in the morning, and I love that time. I may be watering plants, cleaning house, unloading the dishwasher, usually drinking coffee, doing any one of those things. Sometimes just walking through the grocery store by yourself without interruption and just having the ability to just do that leisurely. It's just finding those little moments, especially when you realize you've hit a wall or you need a break. My husband and I decided to start dating each other recently after I saw a friend post the alphabet dating thing. So we have been working through that. I like to point out the fact that we weren't dating at all. To get halfway through the alphabet in 2 years is impressive, in my opinion. The other thing that we currently do, which has been a lovely surprise, is the Unified with Oklahoma State University. Being able to allow her to go on campus and be with peers, which since she's 22, she is college age, and so it's just perfect timing. But also because another challenge for us is movement and exercise, and so it incorporates all the things that we need to find for her: peer interaction, movement, all in one little nest. And it's just fun, and she has fun, and we have fun as parents. Typically my husband and I both go and take her because the other caregivers and parents are typically there, and we sort of just have this natural support group, while everyone is participating in the sport, whether it's basketball or whatever, and everyone and every moment is celebrated. It's just a really cool thing. And so Thursdays, it's our favorite day of the week.
I think what stands out the most is how rewarding it was. It gave me such a strong sense of purpose. It gave me a lot of self-fulfillment, knowing that I was making a really significant impact on my mother's life. in a positive way, was one of the most meaningful experiences of my life. So in many ways, I consider it a gift. There were a number of hard lessons, but there are a couple that come to mind. One is that no one is going to love and advocate for your loved one as well as you can. And so no matter how great of a facility or a caregiver, paid caregiver that you have or something like that, they don't know and care for the person the way that you do. The really hard lesson for me was understanding that there was not going to be a perfect situation. She had been at home. That situation, of course, was perfect for many, many years, and then suddenly it wasn't any longer. And moving her to my home was not going to be a perfect situation. And ultimately, she went to an assisted living memory care facility, and it was good. It was good, but it was not perfect. I wish more people understood that even people who are not caregivers 24/7, they have caregivers coming in, maybe they're persons in some sort of facility, but they still take the lead role, that even if you're not the person providing 24/7 care, that it can still be all-consuming. But in spite of the fact that my role was to some degree much more limited because there were people taking care of her, I was all consumed by it. 24/7, I was all consumed by it. She was the first thing I thought of in the morning. She was the last thing I thought of before I went to sleep. And many times she was the thing I thought of in the middle of the night. All throughout the day, everything in my life revolved around her. When I decided I really needed a little short vacation, and I would go just on a short trip. After my mom was in a facility, I would just take a short trip. And I had people who, while I was gone, I could call on and say, I'm going to be gone these days. Could you come check on my mom? If I was having a particularly tough day, I would try to find something outside of her, some hobby that I had. I took up pickleball. And so that was a great form of respite for me once I started playing pickleball. If I had to choose between my mom and pickleball, assuming she was healthy and okay, I was going to go play pickleball, and after pickleball, go see her. So I just tried to find some things that brought me joy that were not related to her in any way, and that helped, I think. If I was prepared for the transition and knowing, I of course knew that my mother was going to die. She had hospice, and I can't encourage people enough to use hospice if that is something that is appropriate for your family member, because they help prepare you. And once my mother had fallen and we knew the end was coming, they did everything they could possibly do to prepare me for that. And I think that when the time came, I was pretty much as prepared as I could be. And then hospice continued to follow along with me, and still does to this day, and it'll be a year and about a month. If I could describe caregiving in one word, it would be love. Because it is an act of love. It takes courage, it takes strength, it takes sacrifice, it takes many, many things, but at the end of the day, it really takes love. And I know not everyone has a person who's easy to deal with whenever, they're in their final stages of life or needing care. Sometimes those people are difficult, and the job is hard. Being the person that really makes a positive difference in someone's life, there's nothing better than that.
Thank you so much to each of those brave family caregivers for showing how they are navigating their caregiving journey. Your stories are truly inspiring, and we thank you for sharing your experiences, reminding us of the incredible impact of family caregiving.
All right, Ashleigh, I think it's time for more gift card drawings. What do you say? Our next lucky winners from Ardmore, James Bacco. From Enid, Teddy Barker. From McAllister, Nina Faraday. From OKC, Shannon Thomas. From Stillwater, Lachelle Stanley. From Tulsa, Tiffany Green. And watching online, Kiera Monowi. Congratulations again to all of our winners.
Next up, we have Doctors Barry J. Jacobs and Julie L. Mayer. They are a highly sought after husband and wife keynote team who bring unparalleled expertise to the caregiving journey. As licensed clinical psychologists, family therapists, and authors, they blend professional wisdom with deep personal experience. They are co authors of several essential caregiving books and are here today to discuss their newest resource, the Caregiver Answer Book. Drawing on decades of practice in their own life, Barry and Julie will encourage us with a powerful roadmap for emotional survival, offering practical tools for managing guilt, burnout, and family conflicts.
Thank you so much, Ashleigh, and thank you, OK Cares. Thank you, Oklahoma. It's really an honor for us to be here. I'm going to share our PowerPoint, and we can get on going here. Okay, is that now visible? All right.
Everybody else is
I'm going to assume that that's visible.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Great. So I'm Barry Jacobs. I'm a clinical psychologist and author and former caregiver, as you'll hear in a moment. And
I'm
please.
Julia Mayer. I'm also a clinical psychologist. We've been married for over 35 years, and we've both been caregivers, and we write about and talk about caregiving.
Yeah, and we live a little outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And so this is really an honor for us to be here with you. And it was an honor for us to just see the videos. They were really well done, and there really are wonderful things going on in this conference. We're so happy to be here. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to do while we're here with you for this keynote presentation, but also mention that immediately after the keynote, we're going to be available in one of the virtual rooms. I think we're in the respite room for anybody who has individual questions about caregiving that they want to discuss with us. We're happy to answer the best that we can. But for the keynote, this presentation, we're going to do a number of different things here. We're going to talk a little bit about family caregiving in America as a whole. We'll kind of give you the broad overview, just to set a context. We'll talk about, in general, what we know from the research about how being a caregiver affects individuals, how family members are affected by being in this role. We have 5 questions about caregiving that we're going to talk about, questions that caregivers often bring up to us in our work. But there are many other questions, and I'm sure you're going to have many questions that perhaps if we have the time during this keynote to answer, we will. Otherwise, we'd be happy to answer it in the breakout room. Looking forward to having a conversation both here and in the breakout room. A lot of the information we'll be providing for you today comes from our newest book, the AARP Caregiver Answer Book. It was published in July. It's nearly 150 questions and answers, the most common and important questions that we have found over the years caregivers bring up, and the answers that we have been offering them for a long time.
And we're seeing it as a roadmap for caregivers, new or otherwise, because every question we've ever been asked is in there with lots of answers and lots of resources. So we're hopeful that it's a helpful guide for caregivers.
That's right. So just to little bit more about ourselves, because what we have found over the years is people don't really care. Caregivers don't really care that we're psychologists, but they do care that we're former caregivers. And here is a photograph of me and my mother. We don't somehow got put in a very nice fancy frame, but uh, this is from 2017. This is actually about a month before my mother died. She was living in a nursing home at that point and had advanced vascular dementia as well as kidney failure. And I had cared for my mother and also her husband, my stepfather, for about 7 years. My stepfather had Alzheimer's disease, and Julie and I had moved them up from Florida to live in an apartment about a mile from our house in Pennsylvania. And we learned a lot. We learned a tremendous amount. My mother was not an easy person. She was very resistant to receiving care from us, was often uncooperative, particularly with me, and that would make caregiving very challenging. And so, as much as I thought I knew about caregiving before I took care of my mom, I learned a whole lot more in caring for my mom and my stepdad.
We both did, but before we were caring for them, my mother was my father's caregiver. So that's me on one end, my two brothers, and there's my dad in the middle. My sister's taking the picture. Unfortunately, my mother had a heart procedure, which led to her surprisingly unexpected death. And so as we were grieving her, kind of traumatically grieving her, we also had to figure out how to take care of my dad, who had vascular dementia and kidney disease. And so we had to negotiate among the siblings, the four of us, and we were across the country. Only one of my older brother on the end lived about 45 minutes away from my dad. So it took a lot of coordination, and I learned a lot about how you do that as well. Even though we're both psychologists, caregiving gave us new perspectives on how challenging it can be.
So just to set a little more context for the questions that we're going to get into in a moment, the latest Caregiving in the U.S. report just came out in July. What it found is that there are about 63 million Americans right now who do some form of caregiving in the course of a year. Our population as a country is about 340 million. So 63 million is a pretty big portion there. And it's increasing every 5 years when they do this report again. As our population gets older, there are more and more caregivers. A little bit more than a quarter of American caregivers are sandwich generation caregivers, meaning that they're caring for a generation above them, as well as either a generation or two below them. About half of them are caring for a parent, 15% for a spouse, 11% for a non-relative, 8% for a grandparent, 6% for an adult child. And according to the National Center on Education, there are about 14 to 19 million children with special health needs that are also receiving care from their parents who are caregivers in that regard. So a lot of Americans doing this, doing all kinds of different forms of caregiving, having all sorts of different cultural backgrounds and cultural traditions of caregiving. But more and more of us are really committing a lot of our time and energy to the care of a loved one. What we know from the research about caregiving is that caregiving brings strains and gains. So a little bit more about the gains first. And this is certainly true for Julia and I. Caregiving often gives people and the caregivers an enhanced sense of purpose. For instance, maybe giving back to a parent who maybe took good care of them, or doing the right thing. If people have a kind of strong moral conviction that caring for a family member, especially someone who's vulnerable, is the right thing to do. Or if they have a strong religious faith, they may say something like, "I'm doing God's work in this world." So those are all very positive rewards of caregiving, but there's also a negative side, and that is, while caregiving is very meaningful for folks, it also is highly stressful, and that caregivers often have, the research suggests that caregivers have higher rates of depression and anxiety than non-caregivers. They also have poor overall health. They sometimes, because of the stress, have more health problems than their peers who are not caregivers. or they don't go often enough to the doctor to care for their own chronic illnesses like high blood pressure and diabetes, and so consequently they have worse health outcomes. And because caregiving is very important, there's also a loss, sense of grief and loss, particularly if you're caring for someone with an illness which is eventually results in death, or even prior to then results in them losing a lot of functioning. Caregiving also entails caring for someone and doing important work, but having a sense of grief through that process. So those are the potential negative sides of it. And what we try to do in our work is we want to maximize the gains and minimize the strains to whatever degree that we can. So let's get to the first question.
How can I tell whether I have what it takes to do a good job as a caregiver? I'm afraid I will mess it up and let my family member down.
So what I would say is that anybody at the beginning of caregiving will have a lot of self-doubts about whether they know what they're doing exactly. Whether it be the birth of a child with special health needs, or a parent who has a heart attack or a stroke, or is suddenly diagnosed with dementia. Uh, Family members are suddenly thrust into the role of caregiver, and they're not quite sure what it entails, and they want to do a good job, but they're not sure what a good job is. And so the first thing I want to say is that uh, you're going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Julie and I made mistakes because you don't know what you don't know at the beginning. And so there's a real learning curve, and we have to give ourselves grace that we will get better with this with time. And some of it is that we have to learn the ropes here. We got to learn about or family member's condition. We got to learn about the treatments that they're receiving, and what will work and may not work. We also have to really do an assessment of who we are, what we're ready to do, and maybe what our own limitations are. And the three major factors that we always have to take into account for ourselves is our availability, our ability, and our willingness. So availability is something that's just a reality. I mean, if you're working, and it means that for a certain number of hours a day, you may be out of the home at a workplace. You're not home caring for your family member. You can't be in two places at once. So that's a limitation. Or you have a family member who needs care, but who lives 100 miles away, and you're not going to be there with them all the time. You're going to do what you can to be with them as you can. So we all have availability limitations. We also have limitations of ability. We don't all have the physical strength to maybe pick up a family member who has fallen, or we may not all be wonderful at managing insurance forms, or dealing with finances. We also may have limited energy. And so we have to be respectful of our own limits on our ability. And then we also have to really take into account that we have limits on our willingness to provide care. Maybe we have multiple family obligations. Maybe we have more than one family member that we have to care for. And we can't spread ourselves too thin, because if we do, then we're not effective in any of the roles that we're playing. So we have to figure out, what can I realistically do for this person? What am I willing to do for this person now and in the coming months and years? And this is not a yes no proposition. This is something that is nuanced and changes over time.
Yeah, as time goes by, there may be things you're not willing to do later. Like maybe you're willing to cook or clean or be company with your family member or take them to the doctor, but maybe you're not willing to shower them or toilet them. You really have to ask yourself these questions and be as honest as you can with what limitations you have, because that will allow you to figure out how to provide all the care to your loved one in the best way possible.
Right. So I just, by the way, I forgot to mention earlier that we're going to go through 5 questions, but you may have your own questions, and we're going to invite you, if we have time later, to put some of those questions in the chat, and we'll do our best answering them. Maybe Ashleigh can read some of those questions to us. So here's question number 2. Whether I'm caring for a parent, spouse, or child, or someone with a physical or cognitive disability, what personal qualities will be important for me to be a good caregiver, or we should say, as good a caregiver as you can be?
Good enough caregiver.
Right.
So there are a lot of qualities, and I'm sure you can think of some yourself, but these are the 6 we're going to focus in on. Being aware. So that means knowing your emotions, connecting with others' emotions, and recognizing what's going on. You're sort of being in the moment, mindful. Another one is dignity. It is not spoken about enough, but the fact is, remembering to treat someone with dignity helps them cooperate with you, whether it's your care receiver or medical professionals. Everyone deserves dignity, including you. So, you try to help your loved one or your care receiver feel heard and respected and valued in whatever situation they're in. Having patience. We all often say we need more patience than we have, especially while we're caregiving. But the fact is, it's something we want to focus on. These are all goals. We can't do them all the time perfectly well, but patience is important. So if you feel like you're racing, you're trying to get your mom out the door to the doctor and she's taking a long time, take a deep breath, recognize what's important in the moment, which is that you're not putting tremendous pressure on your mom. Maybe it takes her longer. You might be a little bit late, or in the future, you leave extra time. So you think it through. Flexibility is another quality. It means being ready to do what needs to be done in the moment, not sticking with your rigid schedule. I have 5 things I have to get done today, and mom's not being cooperative. Okay, so maybe mom's not feeling that well that day. So instead of forcing the 5 things to get done in the order you want them, you try to be creative, you try to keep a little bit of a sense of humor, and you try to be flexible with what's actually going on in the moment. Diligence is another. It means reflecting, accepting accountability, recognizing who's doing what and how they're doing it, and owning whatever is yours. If you lost your temper with your care receiver, all right, it happens. It certainly happened maybe before they were a care receiver, but now that they're more fragile or more vulnerable, it feels worse. Okay, you reflect on that. You try to figure out what led to it, and you try to handle things differently. And then grace. So grace means don't hold yourself to some unrealistic superhero caregiver standard. We're all just human. We're all doing our best. Sometimes our best isn't great. Sometimes it works out well. But forgive yourself for what doesn't go so well. Learn from it. Think about these 6 qualities. Try to be aware. Try to be patient with yourself as well as your care receiver. And give everyone grace. Your care receiver's in a lot of pain one day and they're irritable with you and they criticize you. It's okay. Try to step back from the situation and recognize that they're suffering and you want to be compassionate with them and not absorb what they're doing.
Yeah. It's that last one that in our work we see caregivers have the most difficulty with. Caregivers want to do a good job. They want to do a perfect job. They don't want to ever make mistakes. They want to hold themselves to the highest standard because they don't want to let their family member down. But the fact is, we're all human, and we're going to make mistakes, and sometimes we're not going to be able to rally all of our energies to meet every emergency or every need. And we have to be kind to ourselves and extend grace to ourselves. Of these 6 here, I would say the one that I had the most difficulty with as a caregiver was patience.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be right. Because particularly with my mom was not always so easy. She could be very difficult. She could be very resistant to suggestions that I made. And I would get very impatient with her. Or, she would have an 11 o'clock doctor's appointment, and I would show up at her apartment at 9:30 and say, "Come on, mom, let's get you out of bed. Let's get you moving." And she would move so slowly, and I would get very impatient with her and really pressure her. And that didn't help. Obviously, she would get flustered and she would get mad at me, and we'd have a little tiff about it. So patience didn't come easily to me. And I still think patience is something that I have to work on in life.
Although you're good with flexibility, and that's another one that's important. We all have strengths and weaknesses, don't we? And so hopefully a little balance comes into play here.
That's right. And what I would say, Julie, is you have the patience, you have the awareness, maybe that's probably your strength, just an enormous strength. And flexibility, maybe
Not so much.
but we're working on that too. So anyway, these are just the six qualities that we've identified. Maybe there are others that are important to you
Sure.
in your life and in the caregiving work that you do.
We would love to hear what they are, actually.
So,
How do I afford caregiving? The copays and other costs are very expensive. I had to cut back on my work hours and I'm not making much money. This is such a common concern. I'm sure many people resonate with this.
yeah, unfortunately, caregiving is expensive, as AARP found a number of years ago that the average caregiver spends out of pocket about $7,200 a year.
That's the average.
Yeah, but there are folks that spend lots more than that, not just on copays, but on emergency room, ambulance visits and having to pay for environmental modifications in the home and maybe buying special food and there's just a lot of expenses.
Diapers and Ensure, everything costs money.
Absolutely. So this is the we're not financial experts here, but we'll give you just some general ideas. So first and foremost, because financial pressures in caregiving are so common, it's really important to kind of go into caregiving with the idea that I need to manage my finances perhaps better than I ever have managed them before, because this is likely to be an expensive endeavor. And that means creating a financial plan. And that may mean creating a budget. Maybe you've never created your budget before in your life, but now is the time to learn to do it. Plenty of information online. You can also hire a certified financial planner to help you with creating a financial plan, but a way to figure out how to look at your care receivers' resources, if they have them, your own resources, and then with a second bullet point here, to really research what other kinds of financial resources might exist.
This is important, and a lot of people don't even think about this.
Yeah. So for instance, every state, Oklahoma included, has what are called self-direction programs, sometimes called consumer direction or participant direction. But basically, these are programs where caregivers, in certain circumstances, can get paid for the caregiving that they're doing. And so OK Cares can provide you information about the eligibility requirements in Oklahoma. But the idea here is if you're doing the work, it's really important work, and maybe it's work that helps enable somebody to live better and to live at home, live in the community, the caregivers ought to be reimbursed for their expenses and paid in addition. And so we really recommend that you look into this. You can probably look online to see whether you meet the income eligibility, or reach out to OK Cares directly for information. There are also with area agencies on aging in Oklahoma and in every state in this country, there are what is called the National Family Caregiver Support Program, which reimburses people for some of the caregiving related expenses, such as paying for those diapers and paying for those cans of Ensure. If you don't meet the income eligibility, there may be still ways of getting paid as a caregiver, and that would include setting up a care contract with the care receiver and maybe with the rest of the family, with the understanding that for the work that you're doing for, say, an aging parent, that you're going to be drawing a certain amount of money per month from that aging parent's whatever savings they have, if they have savings, or that other family members are going to chip in and pay you a certain amount for being the caregiver, the primary caregiver for that parent, especially if you're living with that parent. So there are lots of different ways of looking at this. One other point about finances that we just want to say here now is many caregivers probably the majority of caregivers are working at least part-time. Many are working full-time and juggling the full-time responsibilities of a job and of a caregiver. That's like two jobs, really. And there's lots of folks who are working caregivers are afraid of sharing their caregiver status with their bosses for fears that the bosses will think that they're unreliable and then may not give them promotions or may not give them opportunities to excel in their workplace. It's our belief that working caregivers ought to share with their bosses that they're caregivers, and that not only their bosses but their work colleagues, and that they should seek specific things from their employer. They want flexible work hours. They want a basic understanding that there may be times that they have to step out for an emergency, and that maybe the workplace, particularly if it's a large workplace, it can provide supports for caregivers by having employee resource groups, ERGs, sometimes called employee interest groups, or have support groups for caregivers, where in a large company, there may be many employees who are caring for a parent, a spouse, or a child, but they don't even know that they're all caregivers because everybody's kind of keeping mum about it. But once the company kind of gives their blessing to caregivers discussing their personal situations, and creates a forum for employees who are caregivers to talk together, then those employees feel so much better supported by that company. They feel greater loyalty to that company. And that this is a way of not just handling the financial pressures, but also getting greater support.
It can be sort of scary to say to your boss, I'm taking care of my mom. But if you don't share that, and then mom has a fall and has to go to the ER, you're better off having said it. Because even if your boss isn't too happy to hear it, they'll at least understand why you're running out of work in the middle of the day, if that's what you have to do. Ideally, it's way better than that. But I think the whole country is sort of changing in its understanding of how much caregiving is going on and how many employees are caregivers. So our feeling is we need to know who one another are and support each other, and get workplaces to see that this is a really important thing that they need to support. And the camaraderie would be an extra bonus where, people know what's going on with you, and it makes them care, and you can find out what's going on with them.
Yeah. This is a complicated topic, but do look for resources that exist within your community, with the local government, and within your workplaces.
And family.
And families as well, for sure. Okay.
How do I make my brothers help me? That's you.
This is a question for you, Julie. How do I make my brothers help me with caring for our parents? They say they will help, but never show up. I'm getting angry that they are abandoning me.
Yes, it's a question for me because I have brothers who, one helped a lot, one lived across the country and did what he could. But the fact is, one of the most common things we get asked is, how do I deal with my difficult siblings? And I think for caregivers, one of the main starting points is that you want to share information with everybody, whether they want it or not. Your brother might say to you, you're in charge, I trust you, good luck with that. Okay, but you're still going to get on an email chain and give them what the doctor said, or whatever notes come from that doctor's visit, or mom's medication change, or mental status change. It's important to share information. Sometimes people get afraid of caregiving and they sort of dump it on the primary caregiver's lap and run. And that's not a good thing for anybody, not for the caregiver who's doing everything, not for the care receiver, and actually not even for the sibling, because they may regret that down the road rather than overcoming their anxiety about watching mom or dad's decline. So it's important for the family to meet and to communicate. And if it's really contentious, maybe bring in a facilitator, whether it's someone from your church or a neighbor or a professional facilitator or a therapist. Those things can help to get everybody on the same page, which is the goal. So once you're all on the same page, then you want to talk about what roles you have. Usually there is a primary caregiver. I've seen situations where two sisters have sort of alternated time with an aging parent, but a lot of times it's one person in charge. But everybody should have a role. So my brother, who lived in California, and my dad, who is in New York, were very far apart, but my brother in California could organize with us to come in for a weekend where he gave everybody else some respite, and it was very helpful. Or my sister, who had young children at the time, could get dad on the phone and keep him company, at least over the phone, when my brother and I couldn't be there. So there's always a role for everybody, whether someone does the bills remotely, or runs over and mows the lawn, or picks up the medications for the pharmacy, or calls the insurance company. Hand out the roles, try to get people to do things, and then coordinate what's being done and keep on communicating. And if people are resistant, which is the most common complaint that we hear, one thing you can say to your siblings or family members is that I think we have two ways we can go with this. One is we can get closer and build a stronger relationship by working together to take care of mom and dad. Or we can go the other direction. And when we look back on this after our parents are gone or the care receiver is gone, I don't want anyone to regret what they did, and I would like our relationship to be stronger for the coordinated caring support we offered to each other. So they can be strengthened or weakened. Sometimes even when you say that, you can't fix the situation, and that's a little bit tragic because it just adds to the losses and it's hard to deal with. But I think when you're working with a group of people, siblings, cousins, whoever's involved, you should always expect that there'll be disagreements. Everyone looks at things differently and has different opinions. You try to approach it with respect and dignity, like we said before, and patience. And you do your best, keeping in mind the long view, that even after the caregiving ends, these are people that you have a relationship with. And also see the OK Care respite card to get help with that.
Yeah. I just want to mention one personal story and then mention one other facet of this. So during the caregiving for my mom, my brother and I had some major disagreements and actually led to some pretty bad conflict between us. I mean, he lived 500 miles away, so he was not going to be as involved in the caregiving as Julie and I were.
We expected.
Correct. But we expected him to do something, to do maybe more than he did at the beginning. And he was of the mind, at least early on, that we took this on ourselves, and this was our gig. It wasn't his gig. We shouldn't expect anything from him. And that led to some bitter feelings. I was quite angry with him. And that had a very negative impact on our relationship long after my mom's dead. And our relationship is better now, but it's taken years to really restore it because our relationship, as Julie was mentioning as a risk, our relationship really was weakened during the course of caregiving. The other thing I'm just going to mention, and this has to do with those of you who are spouses who are caring for a spouse, is that sometimes everyone else in the family feels like, well, you're the spouse, therefore all the responsibility is on your shoulders. And they may be the siblings of the ill spouse, they may be other family members, but they all feel like, no, this because you gave your wedding, you took that vow in sickness and health that it's all on you. Well, I don't think that's reasonable. And it's not fair. And I think that it's very important for those spouses to feel that, yes, they can reach out to other relatives for help and basically go through the same kind of process that we have on the slide here, to share information with those other relatives about what's going on, to give them roles, right? And any even small roles, but to communicate the expectation that everyone should play some role, and to continue communicating with them, and then do say to them, I will remember who stepped up and helped me and who didn't.
Not as a threat, but you really want to welcome people. And another thing you can do along these lines is make a tiny ask. So you say to the brother who keeps avoiding stopping by, could you pick up mom's meds from the pharmacy tomorrow or this week? And if he says yes, you've got his toe in the door, and it makes it easier to make a little bit of a bigger ask. And he might find that he finds his way into being more of a help, or finding it more rewarding than he was expecting to. And those are wins.
Yeah, there's lots. This is family dynamics we could talk about all day long, but we've kind of just scratched the surface on this. But certainly this may be something you'd want to ask more about, or we could talk more about in the breakout room. And there's a lot about this in our book, the AARP Caregiver Answer Book. So here's the next question.
My care receiver's doctors don't always listen to me. They think they know more about my care receiver than I do. How can I become their partner in care?
So I worked as a faculty member in a family medicine residency program for 24 years, and I was training doctors in how to be really good listeners and really sensitive people, and not just focus on the patient, but also focus on the family member. So I feel like I have a personal stake in this issue. And yet I can tell you that when I was a caregiver for my mother and stepfather, and I would go to doctor's appointments with them, and I would sit there and I would hear the way the doctors would talk with them and how the doctors either did or didn't talk with me, I would get pretty upset because in my mind, I knew how doctors would be acting, but sometimes they didn't act that way. So how can caregivers figure out ways of really partnering with those doctors and other healthcare professionals to create that partnership, more of a team for the same goal of helping the care receiver live as well as possible? So I guess the first step is I would say you probably can't go to those doctor's appointments with a chip on your shoulder, because that doctors don't much care for that, right? They get pretty
They're working hard.
yeah, they are, and they're under a lot of pressure, and so they don't really like it when a family member comes in and is looking for a fight. So it's really important, as Julie mentioned before, with some of those personal attributes, we want to offer dignity to those doctors. We want to treat them for the caring professionals that they are, and we want to really defer to their preferences for how to communicate. For instance, if they would like you to communicate with them through a portal and an electronic medical record, do it. If they want you to communicate by phone or by text, do it. Or they just want you to show up at the appointment to communicate with them, then you would defer to that preference. However, you don't necessarily defer all the time to their judgment about what the treatment plan should be. There should be a conversation. So part of being a good caregiver with healthcare professionals is demonstrating that you are a valuable team member, that you want to work with them, and that you're writing down observations of the care receiver. You're picking up the meds. You're making sure that they're taking the medications or getting to physical therapy when they should. That you are really helping the treatment plan come into being. And part of this is also you want to be respectful that as the physician may say to you, well, your spouse or your parent may not really want me to share all the information with you. And even though you think that you should have all the information because you're the primary caregiver, you have to be respectful of the care receiver's right to confidentiality and the obligation of healthcare professionals to honor confidentiality. Finally, here we want to say that when you are interacting with healthcare professionals, we want you to offer them dignity, but we want you to expect dignity back in kind. That you should expect that they're going to be reliable. That when they say they're going to call you back, they call you back. Or when they say that they're going to, they'll write the order or write the prescription, that they're going to do it. They're not going to drop the ball on things that are really important. That they pay attention to you, that they don't just marginalize you or make you feel like you're invisible when you're in the room, but that they really do see that you're an important part of their patient's life, and that that they really respect what you have to offer, and they respect your understanding of their patient and your expertise of that patient. And if you have a healthcare provider that's not doing these things, then you probably need to find another healthcare provider, because being a partner with a healthcare provider is not just good for you, it's really good for the person in your family who you are caring for.
Yeah, and another situation some of you may have found yourself in is you bring your, let's say, aging mom into the doctor's office, and the doctor only talks to you and ignores the patient and gets all the information from you, which feels kind of insulting to their patient. So in a way, you're going to be a little bit like a psychologist and read the room and work with the professional that you're talking to include both of you if possible, and make it a conversation amongst all of you, not just between the doctor and one of you. And of course, the care receiver has the right to privacy, and it depends on what they have. If they have advancing dementia, you have to think about their safety first, no matter what. And I would imagine any professional would think about that too. But your goal is to have a good, positive working relationship amongst all of you. And if you cannot achieve that, like Barry said, find somebody else.
If possible. Sometimes
Yeah,
in
I know.
some instances it's not possible. There may only be but so many healthcare professionals within a community. But but I think what we're looking for here is, one, as Julie said, a working partnership, a working relationship with healthcare professionals. That's what we should be asking for. That's what we should be communicating. We want to be for them. So those are the 5 questions that we covered. We want to, maybe before we hear some of your questions and thoughts, just to kind of word about this picture. We like to show this picture because, there's a term that gets thrown around a lot, and that's the caregiver journey. And we too, for us, caregiving was a journey for us as well. And like a lot of journeys in unfamiliar territory, sometimes you don't really know what's around the next bend. And sometimes you may feel lost. But there's a famous quote by the author of The Lord of the Rings, J.R. Tolkien, who said, "Not all those who wander are lost." And I think that's true for many caregivers. We go about our business, sometimes not always knowing exactly what we're doing, but we just keep plowing ahead the best we can. If we don't quite get it right the first time, we get it right the second or third time, and we just keep plowing ahead, and we eventually become very comfortable on this path of caregiving.
You will find your way.
Yeah. And last slide before we turn it, I'm going to ask Ashleigh maybe to share some questions with us. And I'm hoping some of you have put some questions that you have in the chat, and if you haven't done so as of yet, feel free to do so now. And just again, we've written 3 books on family caregiving. The most recent one is on the left there, the ARP Caregiver Answer book, which was published in July. And everything we're talking about today is in this book. So
And much more.
And much more, exactly. So I'm gonna stop sharing so we can hopefully open this up for more of a conversation with everybody.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. We definitely love the perspectives that you all shared with us. We will look at the Q&A and see if we've got any that we can share with you there or in the chat. I'm trying to pull that up for us. If you do have any questions for them, feel free to input them in our Q&A or in our chat. The Q&A is at the bottom on your Zoom bar. If you are joining us online, I know that some of our in-person hosting sites are probably discussing together what their questions might be.
While we're waiting, a topic we did not cover that is so important is caregiver self-care. And I just want to say, unless we get some questions, it is crucial to take care of yourself if you want to keep your caregiving mission going. And I know for caregivers, it's extremely important, but it can be hard to do self-care because people tend to feel guilty about taking the time, and guilty that they're not spending whatever efforts they're spending on their loved one. And so keep in mind that self-care, even if it's just a few minutes of meditation or a walk in nature or a phone call with a good friend, anything like that, it fills you back up so you can be the best caregiver you can be. And if you ignore those things, if you don't do the self-care, you risk getting exhausted and feeling burned out. And that is what we want to avoid.
That is so true. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We do have a question from Rana. Rana has said the question about being able to teach and coach assertiveness. Do you have any suggestions for teaching or coaching assertiveness?
So let's define assertiveness and let's contrast it with aggression, because that's something what we do in our business a lot. We talk about the difference between being assertive and being aggressive. So being aggressive is trying to get what is you need and try to make your point, but doing it in a very forceful way, and sometimes in a way which may hurt other people's feelings. And that's not assertiveness. Assertiveness is being able to put into words what you feel is important, to express it to whoever you're talking with, and really to express it in a way that's calm, but in a way that that person is more likely to be able to hear it. And being assertive means being able to essentially stand up for yourself and not allow others to take advantage of you, but again, doing it in a way where you're more likely to get a positive response from them because they can take in what you're saying. If you come off as too aggressive, then generally speaking, they get very, very defensive, and it's not going to be an effective communication. So assertiveness is a very important part of being an effective caregiver.
It is. And sometimes caregivers can be intimidated, not aggressive, but intimidated. And it's hard to speak up. You're sitting in the doctor's office, the doctor's wearing a suit and tie and knows a lot, and you have something important to say, and it's hard to say. So if it takes practice, first of all, remember that you are advocating for your care receiver, and that's a really important role. Secondly, maybe before you even go, get out a pad and write down what you want to say. And if you're too nervous, you're not used to standing up like that, read off your pad. Say, "Doc, I have to interrupt," and read it. And the more you do it, the more you insert yourself where you need to in order to be a good advocate, the easier it gets. But it's like everything with caregiving, you might be doing it for the first time and it's a new skill set. You have to practice it. Don't get mad at yourself for not being good at it. You'll get better at it as time goes by.
That's great feedback. Grace for yourself and practice is one of the best things you can do. We have another question from Peyton. Where do I learn how to redirect what my loved one needs to do and is resisting? Where do I learn how to redirect what my loved one needs to do and is resisting?
So let's kind of take a step back first. And so why sometimes do people who we're caring for resist what we're suggesting for them? And so sometimes it may be that they're feeling bad about themselves, given that they may now have more functional deficits, they may have more disabilities, especially if it's something that it's an acquired disability or they're getting older, and they feel like they're losing control of their own lives. And one way that they can sort of maintain control and therefore still feel like a capable adult is, unfortunately, to resist the caregiver's recommendations. And so they, for instance, with my mom, I mentioned that she was a very proud lady, and she wanted to really maintain control of her life, even as she was in her mid-80s and she was not able to get around, walk very well anymore, and her thinking skills weren't as good as they had been. But by saying no to me with any suggestion I made to her, in a way, it kind of gave her a feeling of still like being in charge of her own life. And so I had to be very, very patient with her. And sometimes it wasn't. But basically, to handle someone who is resistant, it's very important to empathize with the sense of loss that they're feeling, to maybe ask in as gentle a way as we can. And if we get a no the first time, find a different way of asking in a slightly different way, maybe even more gentle the second time, or more gentle a third time.
Or get someone else to ask who they're more likely to say yes to. Sometimes the neighbor can come over if you're lucky enough and say to your loved one, I'd love it if you wore a new outfit. You look so great in this outfit that you refuse to put on, or whatever it is. Sometimes you can say, the doctor told us in our appointment that we need you to take these particular pills at this hour, so I need you to do it with me. It's all about being compassionate with where they are and understanding all the loss they have, and also being lighter about it. There's no place to go to learn how to do this. This is interacting with a difficult situation, maybe with a difficult person. You do your best. You may not win all the time. He certainly did not win all the time. His mother won plenty.
Not hardly.
What did she win? She won not taking a shower or not taking pills. It wasn't a win. It was just a resistance. So you give it a little time. You hope the person's mood changes. You try to use humor. You try to use affection, maybe bringing in other people. Even if My mother-in-law said no to both of us. If our son came in, who had the same red hair she had, if he showed up and said, Grant, Bubby, could you do this? She would. So it depends who's asking.
Yeah, and just one other facet of this, for those of you with children with chronic illness or disability, those children have, many of them are still developing to the point where they want to assert themselves also. They want to feel like they can have some choice over their lives. They don't want to simply be told what to do all the time. And that may come across as resistance. And that may, in fact, be a healthy sign that they're trying to do the things that they can do and maybe have a little bit more say so in their lives, which is what I think all of us as parents want our children to do, to be able to grow into a position where they're a more active director of their own lives.
Sometimes it helps to give them an option, A or B, and maybe they'll pick one rather than saying no.
That's great. We have a question from Larissa. She says that I've always been the caregiver, 34 years and counting. How do I get others to understand that just because I can doesn't mean I should have to do it all?
Well, I think that goes back to what we were just saying about assertiveness. I think, we talked at the beginning about how each of us makes decisions about caregiving on the basis of our availability, our ability, and our willingness. And each of us has the right to determine what we're going to do on the basis of those three things. And just because other people think that we ought to be able to do something, or we should want to do something, we should be willing to do something, that doesn't make it so. We're able to say to them, I understand this is important to do, but I have other obligations. I have other things that I want to do. And so I'm willing to do this, but I'm not willing to do that. We can define our commitments to caregiving. And because we've been reliable, and Larissa, you've been reliable to your family for 34 years, that doesn't mean that, you are now the responsible one forever and ever.
The caregiver for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to determine, again, what your availability is, what your ability is, and what your willingness is. You haven't lost those rights just because you've been doing this a long time.
One thing that's hard about that is you have to be able to tolerate your family's disappointment. After all the years of caregiving you've done, when you finally say no or set a limit, they're super disappointed in you, I'm sure. It's very unfair because they should be grateful for what you've done, and instead they're disappointed because you won't do what they want you to do now. You have to tolerate that disappointment. You have to say, I feel confident that I did a lot. I feel good about what I've done. The end.
That's great feedback. It's important to make those distinctions for everyone. We have another question from Stillwater. What do we need to do to require more required hours for physicians in their residency on communicating with their patients?
So just, a little bit of background about medical education. So all doctors in this day and age, as part of medical school, they go through pretty strict communication training. And most medical schools have what's called a standardized patient program. They literally have actors and actresses who act out roles of being patients with different types of conditions and different situations. And then they are rated on how well they communicate with those standardized patients. And they can't graduate medical school unless they demonstrate that they have the ability to listen and be responsive to patients of different types. So they get the training. Where the problem comes in is in practice, because unfortunately, particularly in primary care nowadays, there's so much pressure on doctors to see patients in shorter and shorter amounts of time, because there are shortages of healthcare professionals throughout this country, and especially in rural settings. And as a result, doctors are cutting corners left and right. And sometimes that means they don't talk with family members as much as they want to, because they have to move on to the next patient. And they know that if they don't, that they're going to run hours behind. And so it's part of it is not the training, it's part of it is just our system of care is such right now, with too many pressures on too many healthcare professionals, that they cannot keep up. They can't do all that we would want them to do.
So you try to make it easy for them, because then they can help you better. Come in with a list of questions so you're not sitting there and like, I blanked out because I'm looking at the doctor and I can't remember. Have your list of things you want that professional to know. If they have a portal, you can put them in the portal before you even see the doc or nurse practitioner or whoever it is. And maybe they can review it beforehand. If not, they can at least review it after. Get as much information outside of that little 15-minute appointment that you're likely to have with your loved one and the doc, just so that during that appointment, you can get as much done as possible.
Those questions are so important. And I love the suggestion of using a portal. So many people have telehealth these days, and using those portals can be very, very important. We do have time for a few more questions. We've got a question from Marcus. Marcus says, as a caregiver, how do you try and help the receiver keep some of their independences?
That's a great question, and it is something that we always talk to people about. You really want them to. So as they are declining, if that's what's happening and they're losing ability, the best way for them to slow that down is to use those abilities as much as they are able to. So we have all sorts of stories about that. You know, I had a client who her mom was the family cook. It was a big Italian family, and she made the meatballs and the gravy. And then the mom couldn't stand at the stove long enough to do it. So what her daughter did was she said to her mom, I'll be your sous chef. You sit here, you tell me what to do. And so the mom could still be in charge of making that meal, but not literally do it because she couldn't physically do it anymore. And, you know, if someone has, let's say, Parkinson's, and their movements are limited, but they can empty the dishwasher, or they can do a few dishes, or they can do a little dusting, then that's what you have them do. And most of the time, care receivers want to be able to keep doing what they're doing. I mean, sometimes they get so depressed or scared that they give up, and then you have to encourage them. But a lot of the time, they feel good about doing something to contribute their value to the household, and you can feel good about having them do that. So it takes a little creativity if they're becoming more limited to think of things that they can do. But it's worth the effort. You try things. If there's something they can't really do that well, okay, you move on to something else.
That's great. We have kind of a follow back question or a loop back question in regard to the required hours for physicians on communicating with patients. There's a follow up that says, what about training for home health aides? Do they get something similar to that of physicians, or do we need to advocate for more training?
So home health aides don't get, they don't get nearly the kind of training that physicians do, but they do get some training. They get training in working with people with different conditions, especially dementia. They work in certainly different care modalities, how to shower somebody, how to transfer somebody, how to help someone, encourage them to eat. They also get training in how to talk with their clients, the people they're caring for, and how to talk with their clients' family members. So they do have some training in that. I think for the most part, though, home health aides gain experience over time. They learn that it'll be better for the client, it'll be better for them if they figure out a way of forming a good relationship with that client, and to figure out a way of working collaboratively with that family member. And I mean, the thing with home health aides is that not every home health aide is going to be a good match for every
Right.
care receiver or caregiver, and so sometimes an aide will work better with one family versus another, and that has to do with personality, has to do with just the whole setup. But yes, I think the more we encourage home health aides as well as all healthcare professionals to really focus on how to improve the relationships they have with family caregivers and with the care receiver, the better. Through whether that encouragement is through increased training or just maybe mentoring with other people who've been more experienced home health aides.
That seems to be all the questions that we have for you today. I know that many of us really have benefited from what you've shared with us today. We can't thank you enough for talking to us and answering all those questions.
Our pleasure. Thank you all. We'll be happy to answer additional questions in the breakout room, the virtual breakout room, and I think we're in, as I mentioned, the respite resources room.
Looks like we might have just one more.
Oh, okay.
It just came in. I'm sorry. From Marcia or Marcia. It's a little long, so my apologies for paring it down. So she's a caregiver to her husband with Alzheimer's, and he makes plans to do things he's done in the past, and struggles to process everything, and she tries to redirect. So how do you deal with someone that does not realize they have limitations? It always turns into yelling and a mess when he proceeds with his plans. Sounds like some of them are sometimes dangerous. He is so frustrated, but then he doesn't remember.
So one of the manifestations of Alzheimer's disease is people develop something called anosognosia, and that is they lose the ability to really become self-aware of their own abilities and deficits. So people with Alzheimer's disease, particularly early on, they don't realize that they can't do some of the things that they did before. They don't realize that they don't remember as well. They don't realize they don't reason as well. And so consequently, they're always thinking that they can just do what they did before, and that is this, Marcia is suggesting this can cause conflicts at times, and so we have to really proceed with compassion that this person really doesn't realize some of the limitations that they have, and yet we also have to protect their safety, and so we have to be very gentle. We have to allow them to do as much as they possibly can do, and maybe redirect them into areas of life where they can be effective, they can do things. When it really gets tough is with something like driving, where someone may want to drive and they simply can't do so safely anymore. And then when it comes to that issue of safety, then we have to, in essence, basically say no. We have to be assertive and give a firm no, a calm but firm no, as best we can. But otherwise, we really want to allow people to do as much as they possibly can on their own, without if it doesn't cause a safety risk at all.
Thank you so much. That does wrap up all of our questions. Bobby, I'm going to hand it back off to you.
All right. Well, Mary and Julia, thank you again for sharing all of that information with us, for taking the time to answer our questions. That was so helpful. We appreciate you and all that you are doing, and for encouraging our family caregivers today. And to all of our participants, for more information about our speakers and their book, we want to remind you to visit their website at www.caregiveranswerbook.com. And thank you again. What a great resource, and a great afternoon with you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Caregivers, take care of yourself.
All right, Bobby. How about we do another drawing for some more prizes?
All right, I'm ready. I have my names right here, ready to go. So let's get this started. Everybody get your drum rolls going wherever you're at. First, gift card going to an Ardmore participant, Emily King. And from Enid, Petra Kettle. From McAllister, Shirley Harris. In Stillwater, Dave Dunbar. From right here in OKC, Neely Gay. In Tulsa, Sean Phelps. And watching online, Kara Pershaw. Congratulations again to all of our winners.
Congratulations, everyone.
And I would like to take this time to thank all of our platinum, gold, and silver sponsors, as well as all of our local vendors at each conference location. We want to thank you all for sharing your resources with us and for your commitment to family caregivers. This conference would not be possible without these dedicated partners. So thank you for joining us today.
Now, let's also take a moment to recognize the incredible work of our Executive Planning Committee. These dedicated individuals began meeting in January to make this amazing conference happen today. So thank you for all of your hard work and dedication.
And as we wrap up our afternoon session, please remember to save the date for next year's Oklahoma Caregiver Conference, Thursday, November 5th, 2026. Mark your calendars now.
Make sure to put it on that calendar. This is a very well-attended event every year, and we're continuing to grow. This year, we're in 76 counties. Next year, we only have one more to get to, and we'll be in every county in the state. So mark your calendar. If you need help navigating your caregiving journey, connecting to amazing caregiver resources doesn't stop after today's conference ends. Head over to the website at www.okcares.org. It's a one-stop shop for everything a caregiver might need, from finding support groups and respite care to accessing valuable resources. You can even learn how to join the OK Cares Coalition. Additionally, for other opportunities, tips, and resources to enhance your caregiving journey, follow OK Cares on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on LinkedIn.
And we want to remind you to complete your conference evaluation using the QR code on the screen or the link in your post-conference email. This is going to help us point caregivers in the right direction. Complete the evaluation by November 12th for a chance to win a gift card. You know I love giving those away. If you are not currently accessing respite care and have questions, you can indicate that on your evaluation, and someone from our team will follow up with you.
Our final segment today is dedicated to connecting you directly with our experts. It's a chance to ask those specific questions that will help you set your personal course. We have over 30 experts waiting to answer your questions in Zoom breakout rooms. Between now and 3 o'clock, jump on Zoom. It doesn't matter if you're online or in person. Find the Q&A rooms that you're interested in. The list is on the slide and it's also in your program, and you can ask away. You can chat live or type your questions in the chat feature.
That's right, Ashleigh. We don't want anyone to miss this chance to talk to the experts. What questions do you have? Are you interested in home delivered meals, transportation services, or senior health and wellness programs? Well, then pop into the respite breakout room and ask the area agencies on aging representative. Are you eligible for the new caregiver tax credit? Ask the legislative and caregiver tax credit expert in the legal, finance, and advocacy breakout room. Wondering how to get your Part D paid for? Visit the prescription assistance representative in the healthcare breakout room. Do you care for a loved one who has dementia and need a support group in your community? The Alzheimer's and dementia representative is standing by in the health topics break room. Looking for services that support individuals with developmental disabilities and their families? Check in with the developmental disability services expert in the OKDHS breakout room. What are the benefits of respite care and how can I apply for vouchers? Talk to the respite rep in the respite breakout room. Curious about Native American health programs and services in your area? Chat with the representative in the Indian Health Services breakout room now.
Scan the QR code now or use the link to join a virtual Q&A session. Feel free to visit multiple rooms. Instructions to join the Q&A rooms will remain on the screen and are located in your conference program. We hope that this Q&A session will be a valuable resource for you. On behalf of OK Cares, thank you so much for joining us today for the 8th Annual Oklahoma Caregiver Conference, the Caregiver Compass. We are grateful to our amazing presenters and to each and every one of you for your dedication to caregiving.
That's right. Remember that taking care of yourself is what allows you to lead with a clear, true compass. We hope you leave here feeling empowered and confident in finding your way to balance and well-being. Enjoy the rest of your day. Caregivers, thank you for all that you do. Goodbye and take care.
Bye, everyone.